Aloha everyone, Ghost of Hawaii here. Whenever you get a chance to watch this, you will understand the reality of Friday the 13th. Number one, I had to wait pretty long to get up to Judd Trail this evening. Couldn't help it. So I'm actually doing this at about 8:45, 8:50 in the evening, something like that. Anyway, we are up here at Judd Trail, and my guest this evening is Ovilus and also Dee Momi. Tonight we're going to be talking about her encounters, the haunting of Kui Gardens, which for myself, and I know I have my other guest here, Joe Punohu, we've had shared encounters over there as well. So, but tonight it's all about Dee. And I hope you guys like the lighting, that's on her right now. Very Friday the 13th. So anyway, first thing was, got here late. Second thing was, YouTube was impossible to work with this evening. Absolutely impossible. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be doing a video of this, and you all that I told that we're going to do this live streaming and stuff like that, you get to watch it after the fact. So my apologies to everyone out there in YouTube land. But nonetheless, Dee has been on the show before. She's talked about spirits in Japan. The last time we had her on live, she actually did a show at her haunted military housing. Just really good stuff from Dee. And I know, Dee, you wanted to do this, yeah? You wanted to talk about Kui Gardens. This is a big thing for you. This is a place that you grew up in and stuff, right? So let's go into the background of that, growing up there and everything else. And then after that, if you want, we can go straight into the stories. And yes, we are live at Judd Trail right now. When you're ready.
Okay.
When you're done playing with your hair.
Aloha everyone. So the brief history I learned about Kui Gardens, but let's back that up. Kui Gardens is located here on Oahu.
Yes.
It's actually at the edge of Kalihi Palama, just outside of Chinatown. So right across the street of A'ala Park and Chinese Culture Plaza.
Yes.
Okay. A whole entire block of it. So I grew up there since I was an infant. Okay. My family, my mom, she was a widow, and my older siblings, 4 of them, they lived there when Kui Gardens first opened up to our born and raised locals, okay, and Chinese, which was by 1970. So, okay, so the history that I learned about Kui Gardens goes back to 1800s, okay, just brief. And there were native Hawaiians, our Hawaiian ancestors, okay, and they're still laid to rest there, all right. And then we had the Chinese that were there too. And maybe someone can comment on both Hawaiian Hauntings and Ghost of Hawaii's comments. But all I know is that the Chinese were there. I think it was like around plantation era, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. And they are also laid to rest there as well, on the property where there's hundreds of apartments. So my first encounter, okay, with ghosts in my life, I was just a toddler. And I remember waking up, okay, and my brothers and sisters were actually getting ready for school, Sacred Heart, St. Louis, Damien Cathedral. And I remember waking up and saying, oh my gosh, guess who I saw? Guess who came to visit me? And I would see our Hawaiian family and my older brothers and sisters, father's side, Hawaiian family, that even my Hawaiian family on mom and dad's side that came to visit me before I was, I didn't even know them. They passed away before I was born, and they passed away when I was just a baby. So they would come and visit me in my dreams, in my sleep, and in my bedroom. And I remember that vividly. And I would wake up, or I would get out of bed after talking to them, having a conversation with them, and then running into the living room and bragging to my 4 older brothers and sisters and my mom and dad. And you see all my brothers and sisters with this spoon of morning bowl of cereal just dripping from their spoon, like, what the hell is going on? So that's when Mom and my eldest sister knew that I was gifted, that I was really, really gifted, but they didn't want to tell me that until decades later. So that was my first encounter with Obake.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, of course.
So then my second encounter, I was 5 years old, okay, and this was like about 1980, 1981, one of those years. And my big brother above me, you know, he was already attending St. Louis High School, Crusaders. And, you know, ever since I was a infant, he used to love reading books to me, okay? And I remember this one particular night, he read to me his Kamehameha schools. You know, the Kamehameha Exploration Summer Camp
Mm-hmm.
book. And he would read all those Hawaiian cultures to me, okay? And then I fell asleep on his chest, you know, on his bunk bed, on his bottom bunk bed. So I remember this at 5 years old. And all of a sudden, I remember waking up. It was still dark. My brother was still sleeping. The house was still quiet,
Mm-hmm.
or the apartment. And then I was crawling to the edge of the bed, and I sat at the edge of the bed. It's like I couldn't move further. I don't know why, but I sat at the edge of the bed, and I was looking straight ahead of me. And straight ahead of me was, you know, at the edge of the bed, I was facing my big brother's wall, bedroom wall. And right ahead of his bedroom wall was a circular, huge mirror. And that mirror was looking directly at me, and I saw myself in the mirror. But myself had like a golden, something glowing, and it was golden wrapped around my forehead, okay? Almost like a pohaku, or, did I say it right? Pohaku?
No, Pohaku is rock.
Not pohaku, sorry, like a hakule,
Yeah.
and, or maybe a crown or something. So, sitting there at the edge of the bed, and all of a sudden, the thing in the mirror, which was me, started to wave hi to me. Started to, like, you know, like, go like that. And I remember feeling scared. And then I was like, And I wanted to challenge myself, because I saw it was still myself. But it was, I don't know, I looked kind of a little bit different. I knew it was me. And then all of a sudden, the thing in the mirror started like saying hi to me, and was telling me to come, you know, come to the mirror. And I was like, And then I remember going ahead and looking to my left, and I noticed I saw my body sleeping, because I felt like I was really, really up, okay? This did not feel like a dream in my sleep. I saw my body, my 5-year-old body, sleeping next to my brother. And I remember like being shocked. I didn't understand I couldn't comprehend or understand what I was seeing. So I looked back at the mirror, and then myself in the mirror was trying to tell me, go back, you know, and said bye to me. And I waved bye, you know, it was really, really cute. And I crawled all the way back, and I remember I was crawling to my body, and I went right in my body, and that's when I woke up. By the time I woke up, it was daylight.
So,
yeah.
would you consider this to be something like an out-of-body experience that you were going through?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. My first out-of-body experience that I could recollect.
Interesting.
Yes. So I remember when I jumped back, I didn't know I went in my body. I just thought I was just laying down on the bed. But I saw myself going into my body, and I had the biggest eyes, but I was really tired. And went into my body, and then that's when I felt myself jump. And then that's when I woke up, and it was daytime. And I looked at my brother. My brother he heard me stir, I guess. And I was like, I had the coolest dream. And I jumped out of bed, and I went running around the apartment, our 4-bedroom apartment, which was pretty big. And I was like, hey, everybody, wake up, wake up. It was a Saturday morning. I was like, Saturday morning cartoons, man. I was like, oh my gosh, wake up, wake up. I had the coolest dream. I saw me and I freaked out my brother. So that would be the last night I ever slept in my big brother's bed. I scared him.
Let me ask you,
Yeah.
you said that this spirit looked like you. Do you think that you were seeing yourself like sometime in the near future or in the past? What is your impressions of what you saw in the mirror?
Well, um, I hate for people to think I'm weird or anything, but I do believe in past life now.
Yes.
But I just respect it. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think it was. I don't know. Okay. Before I learned what past life was, before I learned what out of body was, when I was trying to figure out what the hell, what the hell was that? Like years later, I know that my mom told me that I was to have two sisters, but they got miscarried. One was stillbirth, one was miscarried, and one would have been 1 year older than me, and the other one would have been 1 year younger than me. So it made me wonder for years if one of them was my sister's, because like I said, it looked like me, but not really.
Okay.
Yeah, that was really really interesting.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff so far sounds almost like ancestral or some kind of tie-in with your own life or past life. So that's
Yep.
why I had to ask that question.
You don't think it was a mimic?
Could be mimic.
A mimic.
A mimic, like what? Can you explain?
A mimic, something that looks like you to taunt you.
I don't know, because knowing how Kui Gardens is, right?
Yeah, that's why there's a lot of things that like to taunt and make trouble and, make you question yourself and make you think that you're crazy because it makes you weaker and it makes you more susceptible to them.
Yeah, because
I would say they have a lot of demonic stuff down there.
well,
Oh,
this
yeah.
one was
Don't
very
get me started
playful.
about that,
This
yeah.
one, the only one that scared me was when it made those faces like, like nanny nanny boo boo,
Mhm.
and I was like, I don't make those kind of faces. So at being that young of an age, 5 years old, that really really freaked me out. But I wasn't scared. I didn't feel like I felt my heart thumping, but I was very innocent. I remember feeling very, very innocent towards what I was seeing and especially seeing my body sleeping next to my big brother. And the book that he read to me from Kamehameha School's summer exploration summer camp, his book was still on his chest. So it was like looking to my left and seeing all that. I was like, I didn't understand what I was seeing. So it's like I was innocent, my innocent eyes. But interesting, Joe and Obaki, what you both say. I never pondered on things like that before.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Well, at that age, I don't think he'll be trying to scare you. Maybe trying to play with you.
Play with me and makes me
Like
wonder
being a
what
playmate.
else.
Huh?
Makes me wonder what else.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them will try to attach to you at a young age to
Gosh.
gain your trust and to get, like that, to create a bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like a possession, right? Nothing like that, right? Because
Well, it could start out
'Cause-
that way.
actually learning from Uncle Robert Lopaka Kapanui, he told me back in 2016 that Kui Gardens is known for possessions. So that's why I was like, okay.
Yeah, we don't have to go there
No,
with
we don't
that.
have to go there. Keep it positive. Okay.
Yeah, no, because
Positive
of
spooky.
experiences that have
Yeah.
happened over there. Yeah.
We don't need to go there. So yeah, my third experience, okay, was I was about 5 years old, okay, and I swear I was 4 years old, and so that would have been 1980, and my older brothers and sisters was in my dream, and it felt so real, okay, and the plot was right there at Kui Gardens property, and I know this was a dream because it wasn't real stuff happening, but I was with my brothers and sisters and all the neighborhood teenagers that we all know that grew up in that property. Okay, they were all there, and we were hanging out in the Baratania Park, which we consider Kui Gardens Park. Okay, and we're there in the Baratania Park. around the basketball courts. And all of a sudden, like, we're just having a good time. It's all positive vibes, laughing, giggling, you know, smiling, keeping it positive. All of a sudden, we hear like a thunder crashing from the sky. I look up and I see this big face woman. Okay, her face is so freaking huge and looks like she's wearing makeup, like a lot of makeup, and she looked pretty spooky. And she was like hovering down from the sky, looking upon us, like looking down, and she sounded like like that, right? And then she's like, get out of here now. You all do not belong here. I don't want you here in this. This is my home. This is our property. Get away. Go away. Beat it. Don't come back again. Get off our property or something like that. And she was like, just with her hands start coming out. You see lightning, like trying to strike the ground all around us. And then she starts bringing down heavy rain and then thunder. And then all of us, we start scattering. My brothers and sisters were all like calling my name. They're all like, come on, we cannot get lost. Come on, let's not lose each other. Everybody's like screaming, okay, we're going to go home. Bye, you guys. We're going to go home. We're going to go home. And then that's when we went into all of our apartments. And that's when I freaking woke up, okay? And what's trippy about this dream that I had, and I felt it was so real, was it was kind of real. So prior to me dreaming about that, we were actually all hanging out in the park, okay? And it was me, my brothers and sisters, and you know, they're all respectful. We were all raised to be respectful back then by our parents and respect the property and everything. And all the teenagers, you know, they were acting calm. Nobody was doing naughty things or anything like that, especially around me, because my dad would have scolded them. And then all of a sudden the rain started to come down. And that's when I must have fell asleep while they were all talking, because it was getting late, around towards midnight. And that's when, that's when I found myself in my bed. And I'm like, how did I get in my bed? We were at the park. And I told everybody when I woke up that morning, early morning, I told mom, dad, my brothers and sisters what I saw in my sleep. And they were all tripping out. Face here. They were all tripping out like, oh my God. They said, yeah, you know what? We felt like there was something spooky, creepy happening in the park. That's why we all decided to leave. They said it wasn't the rain that chased everybody away. It wasn't the thunderstorm that chased everybody away. They said there was like, they heard voices in the park, Baritania Park of Kui Gardens. And that's why they all scattered and ran away. But what was interesting was, in my dream, I saw that face, that woman hovering over all of us. And she was so close to us. A huge, entire big face. Hi, Faye. Hi. So
Scared
that was, hi, I saw her coming.
I scared Obaki.
That's why I kept quiet.
My goodness. I'm 5 years in the future right now.
We're not back in the future, everyone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to know, what was that? You know, because I never spoke about that ever again. I brought it up that morning. My sisters, my brothers were like, we don't want to hear about it. We don't want to hear that story. We don't want to hear what you saw, who came to your dream, because that's probably the voices we were hearing in the park. And we don't want to know what she looked like and all that.
Yeah.
It's interesting. She came to my dream. Yeah.
Do you have any idea as to who that could be? I mean, I'm going to be doing a show on ghosts and dreams in the future. I'm not trying to advertise. I'm just saying that I am going to be doing a show about that. And I would like to, with your permission, I would like to bring up that encounter, because while the first one was very interesting and definitely a tie-in to you, I believe, the second one seemed outside of you and was trying to make a point. And I do believe that the spirits have the capability of entering our dreams. I'm going to be doing a whole show about that. I was talking with Uilani, and we have a bunch of ideas. One or two really interesting ideas as to why ghosts are able to do what they do. So I'm not too sure, but nonetheless, that's very interesting. That's why I had to ask if you felt there was some kind of connection outside of you that was going on, that was trying to interfere with your life, you know, and maybe it was maybe ancestral or otherwise, but I'm not sure. But go on, continue.
Okay. So my next encounter,
Mhm.
okay, I think that's number 4. Okay.
All right.
We were all, me and all my family of, it would have been 6 of us. Wait, no, that's 6 of me and my siblings. It would have been 8 of us, but my eldest brother was already in the Navy, so he wasn't on island. So it was 7 of us. We were just all hanging out in the living room of our 4-bedroom apartment of Kui Gardens. And all of a sudden we hear a car crash. Boom! And we hear a woman shriek, a woman scream.
Mhm.
And since our 4-bedroom apartment was right there facing Veritania Park,
Yeah.
but at the edge of the biggest parking lot, where there's like 3 different entrances to Kui Gardens. So we lived on the entrance of Aala Street, which is facing Culture Plaza, Chinese Culture Plaza.
Mhm.
Okay, so we heard that. We came out. My dad was running the neighborhood watch of his own. He goes, "Oh no, looked like an old lady got struck by a car. Car looked like was probably speeding. Oh." So we were the first ones to the scene. We had to call everything, right? 911 and all that.
Was it a fatality?
Yeah, it was a fatality.
Okay.
So when we were coming out, we already saw the body. I already saw who it was, and it was like a well-known elder Hawaiian woman. I'm gonna keep her anonymous. I don't even remember her name. She was always very nice, sweet, but she was always scolding us in the property because we were always not making big noise, but our laughter. She would not want us, playing cops and robbers, hide and go seek, freeze tag, being all silly around where she lived in the old folks area, which was further down from our apartment. So it was her that got hit by a resident's car. So by the time paramedics came, somebody laid a white sheet over her, and you could see it was bloody. There was bloody on the white sheet. So anyways, we ended up going outside to watch it. Okay. Now, at our 4-bedroom apartment outside, right outside of our living room, we have this thing, I call it a stage, like a performing stage, but it's like a huge, big, entire, like maybe about 7 feet across, block, concrete block, and it's like about 2.5 feet high. So we used to make it a stage, but it's like right outside of our living room, our sliding glass door. And that's where my 2 elder sisters sat with my younger brother. And my mom and dad were inside the living room watching from inside. Actually, my dad was outside in the parking lot with the emergency crew. And I was standing right close to our front door of our apartment, but underneath the upstairs stairs that leads to the second floor of the upstairs neighbor. So I was underneath, but with our garden, okay? And I was just watching afar, just kind of being respectful but shy. And my 2 sisters and my brother were sitting right there on the cement block outside of our living room, okay, outside of our apartment. And right there is like a huge dumpster, like our neighborhood, just for our unit and few units trash can, because it's like a dead end, all right? And right there, in front of my sisters, you could see the big parking lot, and the elder lady was laying right there with the car. So I'm in my garden, minding my business, and all of a sudden I hear whistling. First I hear whistling, okay, like a tune, a beautiful tune, somebody whistling, and it sounded familiar. I heard this before, and it was from that elder woman. And then I start smelling like mailele, and I start smelling like just flowers. Yes, sweet flowers. Could have been gardenias. So I'm smelling this strong scent of mailele, and I'm hearing this sweet whistle tune, like somebody whistling, coming towards me. I look to my left, because it's like a huge pathway, right, from the other units coming towards the parking lot in order to pass our apartment. And it's her. It's that elder Hawaiian resident that had the fatality, that got hit by the car of the resident, that was laying underneath the white sheet. And I'm like, I'm trying to make sense of it. I was like 4 or 5 years old. I'm trying to make sense of it. And she's coming, and when I see her, I'm like, oh no, she's gonna scold me, because she would always tell me, hey, go home, your father, go home, go play by your house.
Can I interject real quick?
Yes.
So you tell me earlier that there was a dream where you saw this spirit, and the spirit was telling you, hey, you don't belong here, get out of here, right? Then you tell me this person was struck by a car and died, but she was very similar to the spirit that told you, hey, get out of here.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, since the spirit world has just so many variations, talk to anyone that's doing this long enough and they'll tell you just almost everything is possible.
Yes.
I'm thinking that there might be a connection with that. Yeah, I mean, I believe also that spirits are not confined to the physical realm, that they can travel back and forth. Who's to say that maybe that's not her spirit going back to the past and talking to you?
Wow,
I don't know. I'm just saying that's, to me, I mean, listening to all of this, and I'm saying, well, this is a possibility that could have been the case. Another thing to be said too, real quick, when people do pass away, speaking of dreams, and when I'm going to be doing that on my show, Ghosts and Dreams.
Yes.
Sometimes, I don't know if you ever had this happen to you. You have a dream of someone who passed away, and they're talking to you, but they don't look like who they were when they were alive. You see where I'm going with all of this?
Yes.
What if that's her from the future going back to the past and talking to all of you, but she was in a different manifestation? But anyway, with that said, because that's how my mind operates, go on with what you're talking about.
Makes total sense, because she used to always scold me. She used to always scold me. Go away. Get out of here. You don't belong here. Go home, whenever. But she wouldn't realize that mom or dad would be washing clothes, or I'll be with my older brother or sister washing clothes, because the laundromat that we used to use was right next to her unit where the old folks lived. So interesting. That's an interesting perspective, Obake. I always wanted to know answers about who that lady, the lady in the sky, was hovering over us in the park.
Yeah, she could have come into your dream and showed herself differently to you.
And
Yeah, they're not confined to any physical restrictions. Ivan is here. Hey, Ivan, good to see you, man. Thank you for hanging out. That's what Joe said. That's someone who has passed that was in our community. But yeah, please go on. That occasionally you might hear me chiming in and bringing up stuff like that. So
I'm standing in my garden that's underneath my neighbor's stairs. Yeah, that goes to the second floor.
Yes.
And I'm outside and I'm looking, and my older sisters were not disturbed by it. Not even my younger brother. And I'm like, what's going on? So I'm looking at her, and she has a big, huge black trash bag with her. Okay? And she's holding it, and I see her kerchief. She always wore like a kerchief, a handkerchief, a kerchief around with her dark glasses. And that's that Hawaiian elder lady. And she's whistling, tall, slender, right? And I remember everything she wore. She was wearing all black. Whistling, and she had this grin on her face coming towards my apartment, and I'm looking at her like so I point at her, and then I point at her body, and then she stops. So she stops like about, I have chicken skin, she stops like about 7 feet away from me. Looked like she was coming towards me, and I shook my head no, like, please stay away. Like, I just said my head no. And she stopped, so she came like about 6 feet away from me, and I could smell, it was radiating off of her mailele and tuberose and gardenias and all that. And she looked at me, and then she said yes, because I pointed at her, and then I was confused. And I pointed at her body that was laying on the pavement of our parking lot with the white sheet over her. And she said yes. Like she was acknowledging that's her.
Okay.
And then I hid. I remember being shy, right? Because I was shy before. I hid underneath the stairs. And she starts waving to me, passing me, whistling. And she's carrying the big trash bag. Now remember I told you before I started my story, the dumpster for our unit and few units in our Kui Gardens, right? We share the same dumpster, was right there next to our apartment.
Okay, pause. Uilani, if you're watching, when we do the recap of the Friday the 13th show, I just want to give you a few notes that we can maybe make comparisons with. Behind of Dee, there's actually something going on the right-hand side. I've already seen it twice. And then also on top of that, I can feel like what happened with the Ulupo show. I can feel like a gathering of spirits that are around us right now. And if they are here, I'd like to say aloha to all of them. You're perfectly welcome. Of course, this is your home to watch what we're talking about. And if anytime you want to give us a sign that you're here, feel free to do that. Right over here on my right-hand side, let me kind of look real quick here.
There's something over there with red eyes.
Yeah, I seen something, but it's behind D. It's on this side.
I saw him in the bush over there.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing stuff behind D.
Bubble
Yeah, so
protection over us. So
yeah, but no, there's spirits here. But if you want to use these motion lights, you can make them blink by going up to them and touching them if you like. And so feel free to do that as well. And I think maybe after we do the interview, I might try to find a way to go live, and we'll do some spirit box and we'll do spirit candle as well. But anyway, go on. I had to let Uilani know because we are going to be doing a recap of your show.
okay.
And then she's very good at seeing things. So, but yeah, definitely I can. Yeah, definitely I can. There's something on this right-hand side over here. Definitely, it's very persistent, and that's fine because I don't know if it wants us to be seen or not. If it wants to be seen, but I'm just letting it know that, or the person know that I see them. Anyway, continue. So.
Okay. So she starts walking right around the front part of our apartment, around all of our garden. We have a lot of native Hawaiian plants my dad grew. And then walking around to where my two older sisters and my younger brother were sitting on that cement block 2 feet high that I told you we call that our performing stage outside of our apartment. And she was actually walking to the dumpster, which was right there in the corner next door to our apartment. And they didn't see her. Cause like I was like trying to contact my sister, like call my sisters. I was like, hey, I was like, Tia, Dawn, you guys see? And they said, what? They said, you see her? They're all like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then all of a sudden, she took a long time to be in the dumpster area.
Right.
And then she starts walking away from the dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
She starts walking slow. She stops again right where she was standing, you know, right down the path of my front door where I was standing.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at me and she says, see you tonight. See you later, like in a whisper.
Lovely.
Okay? And she's saying goodbye. And I'm like, no, because I knew that she would always scold us, but I knew she was being protective of us, playing around now that I'm older and wiser. But I used to be afraid of her. Okay? So
Do you think she was messing with you or something at all? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I knew that was her body laying on the ground.
Yeah.
So I was like, something's wrong. And I watched and I heard her laughing like that.
Whew.
And I was like, and I ran directly. I know we're not supposed to go through our native Hawaiian plants and through the grass that my dad tends the garden. I went right through it. I didn't care. I broke the rules. So I went right through it. I went straight to my straight to my two older sisters and my younger brother. They were telling me, Davian, no, we didn't see anybody. No woman. The lady that was still on the ground. How does she wake up and come over here, throw away her trash?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably somebody else. I'm like, no, I know her. That's her. Because we knew who it was. And they're like, impossible. And then so okay, nobody believed me, you know, not even my mom and dad. So anyways, that night, right, that evening, my dad had to go to work, which was Chevron on Nimitz. And then mom had to take my brother to his basketball game, which was St. Louis Crusaders. And then my eldest sister, I don't know where she went, but then it was me, my younger brother, and my older sister. My older sister was babysitting both of us. So I'm gonna skip to the part that this starts getting freakier. Okay. So
Oh wait, before you go any, just to let you know, we do have an audience here tonight. So whenever you get to watch this video, if you hear voices, that's them. But if you hear something unusual, please let us know. Yeah, and we'll get to that later on. But go on.
So I remember I had a high fever that night. I developed a high fever. Okay. And my sister slept with me. We stayed in my parents' master bedroom of the apartment. And they had a huge bed, okay, very comfortable. And so I remember waking up, it was late. I remember waking up and I told my older sister, I'm thirsty. And then she was, okay, she was, oh, you feel hot. I should sponge you down too. So she went into the kitchen, I'm watching her go. I'm sitting at the edge of the bed, facing my parents' closet. And then she's in the kitchen gathering, you know, the sponge to sponge me down, and then my glass of water. So as I'm waiting for her, I smelled the same scent again of Mailele, tuberose, and gardenia. And I'm thinking, uh-oh. I start thinking, uh-oh, you know? I'm such a little girl, you know? I'm sitting, dangling my feet off of my parents' high bed, and it's dark. The lights are all out except the kitchen light. And all of a sudden, it's like I hear movement. The bed starts shaking a little. Okay? The bed starts shaking a little. I hear movement. And then I hear...
Holy cow.
What? No, that was Joe.
No, that's not Joe.
I didn't do anything.
No.
Was that you? Did you go?
I heard someone on... Well, let me pan the camera down this side. And then rude too, yeah, because the car just came up too, yeah? But this was like...
No, that was Joe. That was Joe.
No. This was something else. I'm hearing something very strange. And it was like, wow.
I was just showing Joe this.
What is
I
that?
took this picture just now.
Yeah.
And look right over here. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a gunshot.
Oh.
Wait, where did it go?
Wait, where?
Here.
Oh,
Look right
okay.
here, okay?
Okay.
So I show it to my camera after, please. My phone.
Oh, there's like a face, or wait, whoa, what is that?
I don't know. That's when Kaleo had his red light on,
Yeah.
and then I just happened to take a picture at the same
Holy
time.
cow.
And that's right there where Joe's standing right now.
That's full spectrum.
This is night vision on my camera phone.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, look at that. So this is the entirety of the picture.
Uh-huh.
And then I just saw this because I've been feeling stuff right there. So I took the picture and then I was like, oh.
Sometimes, you know, when we do this kind of stuff, things will happen in successions. Like someone will be taking a photo and we'll hear something. What I heard was wild. That was... That, and then what's even...
loud.
No, what was really... What was weird
Like it came from your direction.
is I heard it on this side, and then afterwards the car came up, but it wasn't the car.
But I'm
Whoa.
telling you right now, there's something over here, and my heart is racing.
Yeah, I've been feeling kind of out of it for like about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
It's good that we are pausing and comparing notes.
Yeah,
This is unreal.
I took a breath in to look at face camera.
Yeah.
I didn't breathe out.
Wow.
Look at the picture, so I looked at it. Did I breathe in?
no,
When I look at
you
the
just
picture?
said,
Should I
you just said,
continue?
Yeah, please. I'm sorry. That was loud.
Yeah.
And that was from over, like I said, on my left.
Yeah, I heard it too. I heard like
Something like that. Yeah.
like a huge
You heard it. Yeah.
sigh of relief. Was that you, Joe? I thought it was you.
No, this was something.
Yeah.
Not. This was
It was
something
not- it gave me
different.
chills.
Yeah, it was something
And
different.
it sounded like what that elder lady did to
It's
me.
the timing with the car too and
I'm
everything.
not trying to be freaked out. I'm very calm. I don't get freaked out
And I don't know
pretty
if you guys
easily
heard,
that
but while
fast.
we were
But
Yeah.
it
tripping out
sounded
on
like
that,
how
there was a gunshot.
her expression she used to do to me that time when she woke out of her body.
Friday the 13th.
So
What
okay,
else you
so
got?
I'm talking about that night. Okay, that very night we all go to bed.
I think you know how they say in Hawaii, real quick, when you start telling stories and stuff, spirits listen. I think that's definitely what this is right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
I'm not feeling. I'm feeling Dee that you're summoning a lot of stuff.
Sorry.
No, no,
E
no.
kalamaya oi.
Oh
Or
man.
we'll take a break and talk about other stuff.
E kalamaya u.
No, no. Okay, but please continue. That was
I'm gonna show Joe's camera this picture.
What picture was it?
I'll
That's
show
not
you
the
right.
camera.
Oh, where?
Right there.
It's there.
Oh,
But if you like, you can continue to do that. That's I have no problem.
Say
Making
got the
fun of me.
porky off of
No,
me.
I'm not. I'm not.
you're contagious, Dee.
Yeah,
Okay, focus what you're looking at right over here. Okay,
yeah.
right over here. Let me see. Every time I zoom in, I lose
No,
it.
it's infrared. So even though we get one red.
You know
light,
what's
it's still
interesting?
infrared.
You were telling that story while they're talking, and so Joe starts feeling weird stuff, almost like Pearl City High School. I was feeling weird for about 30 minutes. Then I guess Faye took this photo, and then I heard that noise that you heard, which was not a person, a physical person. It's like one thing happens after another, you know, when sometimes when spirits are around and stuff. And I think it could be a sign of them trying to show us something.
Yeah.
It's going to be really interesting when we do the recap. Look for the recap on this show. It's called Seeing Ghosts with Uilani. And she's going to fill us in on what just happened, because that was wild. That was absolutely wild. And Faye is like showing the people on Facebook the photo that she took. Really nice with the full spectrum right there. Very clear. Yeah, so she's doing that right now in case people are wondering.
That's right where we're feeling stuff coming from.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right over there.
crazy.
That's why I started
Crazy.
taking pictures because I could feel something. over
Crazy. My goodness. Sorry to just you know, everything stopped, but it was so big that had to like stop. And
there. Trying to figure out where my
so let's pick up where you left off. You're sick. Your sister goes to get you something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I
To
have
sponge
a
you
high
off.
fever.
You have a high fever on top of that too, which I believe can actually create perception that will allow you to experience things. I think that possibility is there. So throw that in the mix and go ahead, continue.
So I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, right? Feet dangling, high fever, only light on. Everything is dark. The whole huge apartment is dark. Only light on is way in the living room, in the kitchen, which I see in a short distance. So I'm there by myself. All of a sudden I hear the movement of the bed, because first I smelt the mailele, the gardenia, and the tuberose returning again. Okay, that's the chickens. That's the
Yeah.
rooster and the chickens. And then I smelt it just like what I smelt earlier that day when she was coming to me. And then next thing I felt was the bed jolted.
No, that's not chickens. I
And
can
then
feel
I heard-
whatever
I
is
heard
here.
something moving underneath the bed,
Yeah.
and my eyes starts getting big, like I already know it's her. And I wasn't sleeping, I was up.
Right.
Okay, this is not no dream, because I woke up and my sister woke up too. And my eyes starts getting big like saucers, and I'm frozen. And all of a sudden my whole parents' room starts getting freezing cold. I no longer feel sweaty or hot. And I look down. Dude, she is right on the freaking ground. The old Hawaiian lady. Okay, she had her dark shades on,
Mm-hmm.
and she's looking straight up at me. So she was like she was sliding from underneath my parents' bed
Oh.
and coming flat on her back, coming straight out. Her head was already touching my parents' closet.
Okay, so wait, so we get a better description. So this spirit that you've encountered already, like once already, or maybe more with the dream, she's coming out from under. She's laying on her back.
Yeah, she's laying in the
So
back.
she's laying on her back and she's looking at you because she's.
Up. Yeah.
What
she's looking up.
what did the movement look like when it did that?
Like she's sliding. She's sliding out from
Like-
underneath my parents' bed.
Okay, yeah. Like
it's like her upper
effortlessly,
body.
like effortlessly, not even trying.
Yeah.
Just yeah.
No.
Mhm.
And like I see her pushing. I see her hands, and all of a sudden I see her arms pushing, and she's and then I was like, I don't know how to cuss back then. I don't think I knew bad words back then.
Right.
But anyway, so I was like, you know, I
Oh, what was?
remember-
I'm sorry. Something just touched me.
Oh,
Continue. No, I'm just saying.
I'm not summoning anything.
No,
guys.
that's okay. If you are, I'm gonna take you out on a couple of our investigations. We're gonna use you as
bait.
bait. Yes. You said it. I didn't say it. Something just touched me.
Something broke in the tree.
It's active tonight. It's just
So-
one of those nights.
All of a sudden, it's like she starts pushing herself, like trying to get leverage to pull herself up. I start going, I'm like, Dawn! I'm calling my sister, Dawn! But I also had laryngitis too, a little bit laryngitis. So I was like, oh,
How was she looking at you?
I could just see her glasses looking straight up at me, because when I heard
Was she
something,
smiling,
I heard
or-
movement. She had her spooky grin, just like how she gave me that cocky looking spooky grin passing by me and standing next to me when her body was still there in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
That was earlier in the day.
I'm
Now
beginning to
this is
think that
nighttime.
the dream you have of that lady that said get out of. I think that's her. I think I'm going to share this real quickly. Once she was free of the physical world, she experimented with what she was capable of doing, if that makes sense to you, and all these other things that happen, because this spirit really, in my opinion, wants to interact with you. It's singling you out. I lived in a haunted house, and I had to deal with a spirit that was singling me out as well. So we have something similar with our childhood and stuff. But please continue. This is getting trippy.
So anyway, so I start moving back in the middle part of my parents' bed.
Yes.
Okay. All of a sudden, she was rising up from the bed. So I hear her scooting on the floor. I was thinking, this woman broke into our freaking apartment. Where is my dad? Because my dad is a neighborhood watch, and my dad is a fighter. My dad will protect us. He's very territorial of us. So I was like, where is my dad? And because it was just my sister. And then it's like, I see her head, and all of a sudden it stops. I just see the crown of her head, okay? It stops, and then she starts rising up. I see her hands, it's kind of bony. And then she starts lifting herself up like this.
You know something, Dee? I don't know what's more scary, you telling the story or you.
No,
I
man.
mean,
I vividly remember
you're good
this
at describing
shit. Sorry,
things.
I gotta cuss, but I vividly remember this stuff, okay?
Yeah.
And she was like grinning at me. So, and I was like, oh my God. I was disappointed. I was like, Dawn, like hurry the fuck up. Like hurry the F up. I don't know how to cuss back then. I wasn't allowed to cuss. So I was like, Dawn, you're calling my sister. Taking forever. And she goes, I'm coming. I'm like, the lady, she's here. And she goes,
Oh my
and
God.
she starts coming closer to me on the bed. She goes, come with me, follow me. I want you to come. And I'm like, I don't talk to strangers. I'm like, leave me alone. I'm like, you're mean, go away. You died, go away. I'm like, leave me alone. She goes, come with me, come on. It'll be okay, come. And she goes, and then all of a sudden I see my sister coming. What is it? I'm like, Dawn, come, the old lady, she's in the room. Then all of a sudden my sister drops the glass of water and it shatters all over the floor. And takes her little bit, it stalls time with my sister. That time, that old lady is right in front of me, right in front of my face, probably like distance where you are, Obake.
Mhm.
And she's like telling me, shh, be a good girl. I'll be back. Shh, hi. But come on, come. And I feel drawn, and I'm watching her, and I see her going all the way down to the floor.
Yes.
And she slides slowly underneath my parents' bed.
That's interesting. Thank you for the insomnia that I will have later on tonight. I truly appreciate it. I think that you were probably maybe in the process of, if you didn't already have it. A lot of people in this field have attachments at one point in their life or another. Maybe you're in the process of receiving an attachment. I'm going to listen to whatever else you have to say. I'm not judging it. I'm giving you theories and ideas. Hopefully it didn't lead to something more than an attachment, but go ahead, continue.
So my sister came in the room and she goes, what? What's all this commotion? And I told her, that old lady came. She goes, what? And my sister turns on the lights, turn all the lights in the hallway, the living room, my parents' master bedroom. I'm like, that old lady, the one that was laying in the parking lot that died, she is here underneath the bed. My sister says, I'm not looking under the bed. So she runs to go grab my baby brother, right? Because I guess I stirred him out of his sleep.
Mm-hmm.
And all I remember was my sister cuddled me. Like, we slept with the freaking light on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Until I woke up. It was daytime already. And check this out. So the next morning, okay? I go into the living room. I got mad at my sister, like, why did you leave me by myself? I was already traumatized.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was my first recollection of being afraid of a ghost. Okay. I didn't perceive her as a ghost. I thought she was real and that she was just being mean to me. And I don't know how she came into our apartment, because my dad secures our apartment pretty well. Okay. But I woke up, okay, I couldn't even decipher what I saw. So went into the living room and I see my big brother, the one that was attending St. Louis Crusaders school basketball, and he was sitting eating his bowl of cereal. And then I see my mom, and she's wearing her dark kerchief and she had her dark glasses on her head. I see the handkerchief on my mom, okay, and her hair tied up like 1950s. And then she has her dark shades on her head. I'm like, Mom, that was you playing a trick on me. And my mom, this lady is skinnier. My mom is a little bit more plumper. Not saying she's fat, just plumper, thicker. And I was like, Mom, please tell me that was you. Was that you, Mom? Please tell me that was you. You came to say goodnight to me, right, Mom? You wanted to just play a joke on me, right? And my mom's looking at me like, what is she talking about? And my sister says, you know how I told you? She said she saw the lady. I believe her. She saw the lady because I smelled Hawaiian flowers coming from your room, Mom. And there was no breeze coming through the bedroom.
Did you ever know her name?
I didn't. I can't remember it.
Not that I would tell you to say the name,
Big
but
sister would remember it. Our big sister.
Okay.
You know who? Yeah.
Okay.
So my mom was like, she got mad.
Oh,
That's them whispering.
no,
Are you guys whispering?
no. That's okay. I'm gonna point at the dark.
Were you guys
Oh, wow. Okay, that was a dog, and then like a ha.
I heard-
Oh, that was loud. That was behind me. That's why I panned the camera in the back.
I'm back here. I'm not moving or
No, that was a dog. That was a dog. I'm telling you, Friday the 13th ended up being a very interesting night. It's very active here at Judge Trail. Again, for Uilani, that's going to be doing the Seeing Ghosts show with me. Take note of this stuff, okay? Take note of this and give me your interpretations when we do the recap on this show. Okay,
I'll tell you.
what's that?
But I was looking at
Yeah.
before you did that.
Yeah.
The tree above you.
Okay.
It's sort of moving.
The tree up here, yeah?
Yeah, the tree above you. I saw it and it was moving, like the leaves. And the first impression was there was something in the tree.
Oh, wow. And I'm still looking at that tree.
Branch broke earlier.
Oh. Well, sometimes, just to let the Hawaiian Hauntings group know, and on this recording I'm doing, sometimes we're out here on different nights or even on Halloween, and it doesn't get this active. This is,
Yeah, it's not
yeah,
active at all.
yeah. This is,
Oh God,
Dee's bringing
Faye,
the activity.
I don't know how this is.
Well, you're talking about stuff and they come.
yeah.
So,
The dog was
my-
interesting.
My impression, my theory on this is from the history at Kui Gardens. You have a lot of things that behave like demonic entities, but they're not demonic entities.
Hmm.
They are Hawaiian spirits who are so pissed off that they've been driven to act and to think and to look and to behave like demonic entities.
Wow.
Because the history of that whole area over there is not a good one. That whole ground is graveyard. People are buried everywhere under there, and they lived miserable lives. They were oppressed. They were, they were under people's boots their whole life, again and again and again, and they were all shoved in that little area that's Kui Gardens, like literally in little tiny houses. Like it makes the Crate City in Waianae look luxurious. I've seen old photos of this.
Wow.
The hovels that they used to live in, families and stuff.
Yeah.
And what if the case is like, when especially this lady passes away, right? She is introduced to their world, right? And she becomes part of that world and is now reaching out to you, maybe possibly altered because of these other spirits that are there. There's always situations where doing hauntings and such, it's not only one spirit that's causing what's going on. There's other spirits that are actively involved as well, but you will probably only sense one of them. So
This is on the path up, right? This is also a very Hawaiian area, so you would have Hawaiian spirits.
yeah.
And Kui Gardens is just right down there. So they come up.
Yeah.
And they're being allowed to come up because they're Hawaiians.
And we've had experiences there. You know that already, Uilani. And
We're
really,
measuring them.
yeah. Continue, but this is really
This is very
interesting.
educational.
Yes, it's a very interesting night.
Wow.
It's an interesting experience. for
So-
sure. Everybody's good, yeah?
My mom looked shocked, and I guess they didn't want to scare me further. They could see I was confused. I was in shock, and I was already. I want to say that was the moment when I started to learn
That's me opening up a cup. Go on.
that there is something not right. That this was not a human.
Hmm.
I was trying to make it make sense. I thought it was my family members playing jokes on me, because my mom was wearing her kerchief, but it wasn't the same color as that old lady.
Hmm.
And my mom's glasses is different than the old lady's glasses, And my younger brother, he wasn't a female.
That's me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyways, that was my story number 4 encounter. And that traumatized me so much, guys, that I started to build a wall on the side of my bedroom bed. Okay, I had a twin size bed that was a bunk bed, and me and my little brother shared a bedroom.
As you described, Dee, just seeing
Yes.
the lady after she got into the accident and died,
Yes.
and seeing the blanket with blood,
Yes.
or that's traumatizing.
Kaleo,
That is.
You have
and
seer.
she didn't look like she was
But-
hurt
You have
at
seer.
all when
But
I
I'm
saw
thinking to
her.
myself,
can you run seer?
Yeah.
this kind of trauma.
Can I what?
working
Run
at the
seer. Can you
hospital,
run it
Right.
whenever you get a chance?
I noticed this.
Because I want to
trauma
see if you pick up
starts a
images
pattern
that are
Right.
somehow
of
connected to what's going
paranormal
on
things
tonight.
Oh, you're talking
Right.
about the night
happening,
vision.
and
The one that does the
this
AI.
trauma triggers that
The
kind of
images.
stuff.
Right.
And I wonder
Yeah.
if that's
I'm
kind
running
of
it
tied
now.
to
Huh?
perhaps your history.
It's running now.
It's running right now. You've been getting
I never
pictures.
thought-
Yeah, I got couple.
that's why I want to talk about my stories, because
Mm-hmm.
I never deep dived
It's-
with Kui Gardens stories.
It's very therapeutical to relive
Yeah.
the stories.
Because I'm gonna tell you, all my Kui Garden stories scared the shit out of me,
Yeah.
and it made me afraid of ghosts until I met you guys.
No, I
So
understand why.
this is I'm talking about like things from like 1980, and I was afraid of ghosts for so many decades up until I met you guys, which was year 2017, 2018. So yeah, that's when I started to become fearless of ghosts by 2017, meeting you guys.
Well, the best of us won't step foot on Kui Gardens.
You know how you guys
right?
were just talking about this tree? I caught a picture. It looks like the tree is bleeding.
What?
What?
Like crying, huh?
No, bleeding.
Wonder what that means.
Gosh.
The sky is the limits when it comes to
the
ghosts.
ancient war here.
That's very
That could be it.
possible,
That's
too.
too.
Honest, can I show you?
I
That's true.
remember you guys were saying this was a war zone. Yeah.
I
We
know
need-
it has to do with the red light effects, but I've never seen a red light effect like this before.
Let me catch that. Oh, yeah, I can see the red. Wow. There's
That's-
nothing there.
So the thing is, even if it was a reenactment of the battle, the trees weren't here.
My friend says that the YouTube is frozen or something.
Well,
I'm not on YouTube right now.
He's not live. He's recording.
Oh.
Yeah, tell him I'm not live. I couldn't get on live. Yeah, this is an interesting Friday the 13th.
The battle.
And if they're wondering about the show, I will be posting it later tonight, or I might do it after the. Yeah, I'm gonna post that first, and then I'm gonna post
Everything else hung from the tree.
the recap, the reaction with seeing ghosts, to see what Uilani has seen. This is a
My
crazy
a
night.
a family friend of mine. She was waiting all this time on YouTube.
Yeah, sorry, it froze. It froze.
She doesn't have Facebook. A lot of my
No, that's
lot of my
okay.
family
Tell
don't
your
have
family I'm
Facebook.
gonna post it later on
Yeah.
tonight, and then
Okay,
you can.
I'll let them know later.
Oh, let me see.
That's
Oh.
funny. She goes,
Okay,
yeah,
let me
you
look at
still
that.
never unfreeze.
This is all your AI images, yeah?
They've been watching.
You know, automatically,
You watched it for that long.
this one up here,
That one just came out.
this one just came out.
Obake
It's-
has a dedicated
Try
guest star.
blow that up real quick. Okay, look at that. This is interesting.
Girl.
Okay, hold on. Shh, 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 shh. Ooh, Faye just took a picture of a tree with blood on it. So my friend Kaleo over here, one of our investigators, has been running AI. This is a program called Seer. And right now, what I'm looking at, oh my God, these are trees. And they look very similar, very, very similar to like something that'd be going on with those trees over there. You can see it right there. Look at those trees. That's the one with something like red or blood on top of it right there.
Holy shit.
And yeah, he just got that picture just now. He just got that. That's impressive. The other one, if you go back,
When
Kaleo,
did you take that one, Faye?
When you had your light on.
Oh.
Kaleo, if you go back, if you go out of that picture, if you go back to the other pictures you took, down here looks like bones.
Oh yeah, look at that.
That looks like bones on the bottom, right over there.
That showed up when I first got here.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about the fact that Kui Gardens has to do with burial and such. And you just got that on Seer. I'm glad that someone was doing Seer tonight. I'm not too sure about the other images, but that one and the tree, I think definitely has something to do with the experiences that were.
This one came up when
My
you
story's
said you
scaring me, dude.
felt something coming from here.
These stories are scaring everybody.
Ah,
In their ways.
that one right there looks like Faye's photography.
Yeah.
That one looks just like Faye's photography right there. And it looks like a tree.
Yep.
It looks like a full spectrum
Crazy.
thing of a tree. Okay, look at that. But
The
Faye, are you
colors
seeing
too,
this,
right?
Faye? Look at this. Look at what he's got.
Wow.
You see that? It looks like a tree,
Yeah.
like full spectrum. So, again, there's something going on here. The dots are being connected, and this is just incredible. Both of these. This is impressive. Your Seer is very impressive too, because there's a connection going on. And yeah, I swear we do Halloween shows and stuff, and we don't even get stuff like this most of the time.
You guys want to check them out?
And we're not even in Halloween right now. We're just heading in that direction.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
in my
interesting.
tablet? Oh,
I just
I
got
mean,
these
you're right here, right? 3 feet away.
Okay. Whew. Okay, so what story are we on right now?
Okay, still on number 4. I'm about to end it, wrap it up to get on to number 5.
Yes, please do.
This is going to have to be on 2-part series, please.
So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
story number 4 actually scared the shit out of me. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not the only thing that scared me. There's more scarier stuff that happens
Then this.
coming up. Yes.
Okay.
So
This one just
this
came
one
up when she
traumatized
mentioned
me
stars.
so much that I had to build a barricade wall every time I slept.
You got cards on here.
Every time I
And
slept.
the symbol with spades and everything are sometimes considered to be symbols of death.
And you know what's really interesting?
Yeah.
This hand right here looks like it's wearing a glove like you.
Holy, whoa, okay.
Wait, what?
This is my glove. This is my blessed
it went
gloves
Wait.
for protection. Go back to that. Can you go back to that? Can you show me that picture?
Oh, wow, right
Yeah.
there.
Look at that. Look at that.
I mean,
Where
it's
did you take
everywhere.
that?
This,
Yeah.
this, all.
Where did you take
It's all
It just
like
all
my
looks like
it's
your
like my
glove.
Where
gloves.
did he take that?
He
Here?
didn't take it.
Just-
it's
just
an
now.
AI
This
thing
just
that
popped up.
generates.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's interesting how it's all aces,
Yeah.
except for the middle one.
Yeah.
Okay. It's telling us to play solitaire.
And it's telling us about spirits or ghosts or the
Hello,
fact.
solitaire?
I think that it's talking about the graveyard at Kui Gardens.
I think it's saying, Obake, you're number one.
No, you
In the middle? In the middle?
or you're
Numero uno.
Oh, that's
Ichiban.
all all
Ichiban.
warm, fuzzy thoughts from the people that showed up here tonight.
Ichiban silent.
I think we should all go walk down in the dark after and then continue this. But
I pass.
okay, anyway,
So,
let's
yeah,
go back to
I
this.
should wrap it up. So I'm gonna wrap up story number 4 so I can jump onto my other stories. So that story number 4 scared the shit out of me, and it traumatized me so much at that young of an age, where I didn't want her to come back, because she told me she was coming back. Yeah, when she was leaving, going down my parents' bed, and I started to build with all my stuffed animals, Cabbage Patch, you name it, Raggedy Ann, everything, right? I started to build like a wall, like a 2 feet wall on the side of my bed, and with pillows and everything.
Why?
Because I was traumatized. I was scared.
I thought so. Okay.
And on the nights that my dad had to work graveyard, which was a lot at Chevron on Nimitz Highway, you know where Liliha Bakery is now on Nimitz Highway.
Mhm.
Yeah, oh, it's across the street. But yeah, Dad couldn't, watch over us, make sure she doesn't come back. But I would have to use my wall of dolls and pillows and blankets and Hawaiian quilts and everything to just not make me see all that
It
again.
was your way to cope with what happened.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yes.
So I'm not.
And then I got a glowworm. You know the glowworm for Christmas in 1980s, and that
Yeah.
that was my nightlight. That was my nightlight. That I felt was my safety. With along, having rosary and as protection, because we were Catholics back then.
I'll do this.
So okay, so that wraps up story number 5. Story number 4. So story number 5 was just basically where at that time and age, okay, in early 1980s, that's when the neighborhood kids we all played with in Kui Gardens would start telling us their ghost stories. They never got into details, but they would say, basically they would see like a woman, they would see like one lady covered up in mud rising from their garden. I remember one kid said that, and the older sister said, yeah, that's true. And he said it was so much fear. And then another kid, at another time, said, came running to us and saying, yeah, I saw a woman covered, like a Hawaiian-looking woman, covered in dirt, crawling out of his garden, his backyard. And then other older neighbors would be telling my dad, who was running the neighborhood watch, and I would hear it. They would see like midgets. They look like Hawaiian midgets.
Getting a lot of bad energy from this. I think it goes hand in hand with what Joe was talking about, that it was a graveyard before and
Yeah.
such. But I'm getting really bad energies
I'm
from
gonna
this
come up
story.
to that story. It's
Really
coming up
bad.
next. It's
Ba-
coming up
it's
2 more
really
stories
bad.
from now.
Yeah.
So
Okay, what you getting from this then? This just one pop up.
That popped up.
When
Let
you
me
said that. Bad energy.
hard to say, but I'll tell you this much. We're talking about things of the past and what happened with Dee, and also what happened a long time ago with the pictures that Joe had taken, or not taken, had seen for himself of the past, and that could be a representation of that. It might be a spirit from possibility of Kui Gardens that is trying to communicate. There's all kind of wild and
There's
crazy
several.
stuff
There's
that
many of them here.
yeah, there's a lot of wild crazy stuff, but yeah, that when you said that, I could feel like bad energy, really bad. And then that picture showed up. Just show D, the one you just took from Sear. See, that looks like something from a long time ago. And then try show Joe later on or
Where'd you get
after,
that from?
because that looks like
Where did you get that from, Uncle? Where's that
we're talking about
picture
the
from?
spirits and well,
Just when he said that he felt that bad energy
Hey,
coming,
speaking
You
of
took that
Menahunia,
picture?
yeah,
and then this.
yeah, midgets and stuff too, yeah, or small people.
Menahuni?
No, small people. Definitely not Menahuni.
let's see this guy's face. Wait,
Yeah, they said they would see
In the
that
background.
It's not a
Kui
kid.
Gardens.
Oh, this one.
Small people
Yeah.
in ancient Hawaiian. Especially like a woman rising out of
These
the
are not
dirt,
Look at the face on that
out
one.
of their
Yeah.
garden, or out of the mud when
even
it was
this
raining.
this doesn't look like a kid. Look at that.
complex
Yeah.
was built.
It was a graveyard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
They just built it right on top
It
of
was,
If you
it
turn
was
sideways,
like
it gets bigger.
they were all buried there, but then it used to be like a Chinese encampment.
It also kind of
Ancient era.
reminds me of
Yes.
Glenn Grant when he talked
Yeah,
about
when
the
they were all
Contessa,
workers, yes.
and
I don't wanna say
there were like
slavery,
these
but they were
spirits
all
that were
workers
covered with
there, yeah.
mud and everything too.
Yeah.
And the Contessa
And
was
then
also a
they're buried
graveyard.
there too. And then the other one is the Native Hawaiians. Whatever they were doing there with that land in 1800s and probably prior are buried there.
Well,
Yeah.
let me tell you a little bit about
So-
1900. 1900 was the fire in Chinatown.
Yes.
And this is what brought up the Maui fires. Brought this up again for me. In Chinatown, the fires were controlled fires because of the bubonic plague that broke out at Aloha Tower. But the newspaper the next morning said something along the lines of Chinatown purged. Now civilized people can live there. After it's been purged of all the Asiatics and Pacific Islanders, that's what they meant by purge. They kicked them all out because they were going to build a community of white people over there where they were more sophisticated, and so they were all shoved into where Kui Gardens is.
Oh wow.
Talk about Hawaii's dark history.
That's like
Yeah.
the chain of events here. They were all shoved there for now, until we can find you a better home, turned out to be generations.
Wow. So that's who's all. Wow.
They
probably-
were displaced for that reason, kind of thing.
That's sad.
Until they decided they didn't want to have anything to do with Chinatown after all, and then slowly people moved back in. But they just wanted money in the land. This was at a time, you got to understand, where white people were they were the height of sophistication, right? And this was commonplace, and this was the norm, right? Now we look at it like, oh my God, racist and blah, 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 and all of this, but back then that wasn't the case.
No, it was commonplace.
They were going with the norm. They were going with society's norm.
Yeah.
You know, so, but people were still mad that they were kicked out of their own land. You know what I mean? And they were forced to move in and live in like slums and hovels.
Wow.
And when he died, I mean, that's the story of with the Kahahavai, who's buried at the graveyard over there, Ka'ahumanu Cemetery, right up on School Street. That's where a lot of them were buried over there too. I mean, look, you get the mental hospital, the first one on the same road on School Street.
The
You have a
Oahu
lot of
Insane
the
Asylum.
Yeah, you have a lot of the undesirable buildings and maintenance and all of that stuff there, because the other people didn't want it where civilization was.
Wow.
Right? They were
Wow.
treated, that whole Palama area, Kalihi, was treated like the waste. That's where all the junk and all the stuff was.
You know what's really weird too?
Now I'm more mad that they developed over there and they made us all live there and grow up there.
You know what's really weird too? I always
Surprised they don't have any tea leaves.
I bring up synchronicity a lot.
My dad grew though.
Sorry
no,
about
no.
That's
my
okay.
dad
No,
didn't
I bring
grow.
up synchronicity a
They
lot.
grow
And when Joe mentioned the mental institution, which is Oahu Insane Asylum, I'm connected to that because I grew up there, and I experienced a lot of crazy stuff living in that place. Like an Inogami type dog demon and stuff like that too. So who's to say that this is not synchronicity? You telling this story, Joe talking about that place. I lived at that building. I mean, I lived where those buildings were a long time ago. and this is really starting to freak me out. There's a pattern that's emerging right now while you're telling stories. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we left off with people rising out of the earth, spirits and whatnot, and they're covered with
But the
dirt.
kids and the residents
Yes.
would tell me or my dad, yeah, and I would hear it in ear sight. So, so anyways, I remember another incident was a neighbor of ours that lived a little bit further way down in our, because our property is huge, and they had an orb chase them from somewhere on the property all the way to their house, and it was like in broad daylight. The orb was chasing them.
Mhm.
So told my dad that, and I heard it. I was like,
Ooh,
oh
what
my
does that
God.
smell?
It's my sanitizer. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
So,
at least I know it's
He's very
debunked.
sensitive.
Yeah.
So okay, so the next story, right? I had this one dream. Okay, this is story number 6. I had this one dream, and it felt so realistic. Again, it's a dream this time in our apartment. Okay, and it could have been an out-of-body experience. I think it was. Now that I think about it, and over time I learned this. I learned that it wasn't out-of-body because I spoke to somebody on Hawaiian Hauntings back in 2017 about it. So, anyways, I'm dreaming that I was like in some kind of like, this is something what you and Joe were talking about. It felt like, I'm not saying I'm mental, okay? Some people might say, no, you are. But yeah, I felt like I was like in a hospital or something, okay? And I had a gown on. But it was my bedroom. And then I start walking to my door, like to get out. And I see that I'm wearing like some kind of like a hospital gown. And I walk to my bedroom door, okay?
Somebody in my chat brought up OCCC, and that's exactly what this reminded me of.
Oh, Triple C?
Yeah, OCCC is in the same area, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then right when you say hospital gown, and then that shows up.
Interesting. It seems one of the most
Oh,
primary
wow,
components
that's crazy.
is the color red that's going on here this evening, including the red light that is on you right now. So,
Oh, maybe the spirits were like, oh, red blood, yes.
yeah, finding a way to reach out and communicate that.
No. No, it's supposed to be sacred now.
You just got that
Sacred,
one.
stay
Joe.
away, kapu.
What'd you
This
get?
is
And
Aloha.
okay, just to say real quick, getting like spiritual download and everything. You said that you were dressed like a patient, right?
No, I don't want to, well, yeah, like
No,
a
no, but
hospital gown.
but
Yeah.
at that mental institution, it was an asylum, and I'm just saying it's just really weird, man. This whole synchronicity stuff that's going on right now with everything.
Yeah.
There's nothing that does not seem like it's separate. It
Yeah.
just seems like it's all connected somehow. But go ahead, go on.
So I had this vivid dream, okay?
Mhm.
And all of a sudden I get up from my bed
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, whoa. It's like my bedroom starts looking like a hospital room. Like a patient hospital room. Oh,
What is that? She's getting that on Sear too.
Melody just said, I gotta have a cigarette.
Is that from Sear?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
oh God.
The Methahuni.
In case people are wondering, Sear is a
Damn, that is so.
Sear is an app that people use that creates AI generated imagery
That's
that is said to
cool.
be spirits
Okay.
using it to try and communicate. So, in case people
Wow.
they're hearing Sear and they're not sure what Sear is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I start walking around my bedroom. So obviously I was probably sleepwalking. And I don't know that, never even known that I could sleepwalk. And I'm looking around like, this is my bedroom, but it looks like a hospital. I'm like, then I look at my door, and my door looked like a hospital door. So it's like a regular door, my bedroom door, that I always keep closed. And it has like the window, the rectangle window right there in the door. And I'm like, this is weird. So I remember going ahead and opening up my door. And then as soon as I opened it, I started to float up. Like I saw my feet flying, going off my ground. Like, I felt myself literally like levitating. And I'm like, what the hell? All of a sudden, then I go like Superman style, where I'm like, I'm facing now the ground. I'm flat, levitated off the ground like that. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And I stretch out my arms and I start going
Oh,
forward.
just like The Exorcist. Yeah.
No, stop, don't say that. I'm scared of that movie.
Okay. Okay.
No, because I never see that movie yet.
How you scared of them?
I mean, I never see the movie yet. In
We'll
this
bring 'em here,
this
we'll
year, the year that I'm talking about, this dream I'm talking about, I never see the movie yet. In this year of 1980s, so I start levitating, right? And I'm like, oh, this is cool. I remember I was talking to myself like, oh my god, this is so cool. And then all of a sudden I start flying through I go out of my bedroom, and then I go into my brother's room, which is next door, my younger brother. That was my big sister, and then my younger brother. And then I go to my big sister's room, and I see all of them sleeping. And I come out. I'm going into the hall, passing their bedroom, and I'm in the main hallway. And then I start flying right through the hallway, and I go into the living room. I start flying around the living room. Man, that was that was a cool ass dream.
Cool.
So I start flying, and then I'm like, man, I'm tired. And then I fly, and then I go into my parents' bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh no. And I remember stopping right at the foot of their bed, watching them sleep. They look so peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
But I see an empty space right between them for me to go sleep between them. And I'm like, why am I in my parents' bedroom? You know, I'm tired. I feel myself tired, sleepy, really, really, really tired and drained. All of a sudden then I feel myself gravitating towards my parents' bedroom, my parents' bed. And I plop right there, land softly. I feel something land me softly right on my bed, right on their bed. And then right there, I woke up. It was daytime already. And my dad looking at me, what's this girl doing in the house? She got, because you know, usually they're light sleepers. And knowing that dad is neighborhood watch mentality, he can hear us walking out of our room. He didn't hear me. I told him I flew here. Dad, I'm serious. I flew here. I flew through from my bedroom. I went throughout the whole house. I saw everybody sleeping. I was watching you guys sleep. Mom was like, oh, she got spooked out. But I was placed gently because I remember saying, I'm tired. I placed gently right on their bed. Usually they hear me or my brother walking to their room. They wake up. Nope, go back to your bed. They don't like us sleeping with them. Go back to your bed. Nope.
So to get a better understanding of what you're saying is that you had this dream.
Yeah, I was
and
floating and flying.
you're floating and everything, and you went into your parents' bedroom, and you actually woke up on the bed.
Yes.
Okay.
I woke up like it was daytime already.
One day we'll talk because I had very similar stuff happen to me too.
Wow.
But yes, go on.
I was like probably like about 6-7 years old around then.
Mm-hmm.
So then my next encounter, okay, number 7, takes me to Board of Water Supply. So Board of Water Supply would always come to our property more towards, it was between Laliha Street side on our property. Laliha Street side and Vineyard Boulevard, North Vineyard Boulevard side, okay? Somewhere in the center of that.
Yes.
And we would see it, you know, from the other side where we grew up. And being that every time we would ride my brother's BMX bike, or I would do roller skating around that Baratania part,
Mm-hmm.
we would always see Board of Water Supply come and try to fix the big water main pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Because we always had plumbing issues throughout that whole property. So old. And so whenever they would dig up the concrete,
Why am I smelling wet earth?
I do.
You smell it? It could be the river below,
Trippy.
but it's just trippy. You're talking about water and digging things up, and just when you did that again, something happens, and I can smell that.
So
Mosquito repellent.
I smell like wet earth.
he smells mosquito repellent. So anyway, so they dug up. I see them digging up, you know, going ahead and digging up the concrete, right? And then Board of Water Supply goes in, and it's all dirt. And you know me, maha'oi, I'm ni'ele, maha'oi, all of that. I go with my BMX bike or the roller skating, okay? And I go by. Every time they have that big, it's like a big rectangular shape. They have it and it's like dug up and it's kind of like not too deep but kind of deep. And you see bones in there. They would say they found human bones and it's old. You would see human bones all in there, all with the dirt. And
Did
this
they
was-
remove the bones or interact with? Did they? Usually, there's a procedure for that. When you find bones, then there's a whole investigation that takes place. I think
Yeah.
even Kaleo might know about that. When you find bones
Gotta have
anywhere,
The EV.
like they call in like experts like Bishop Museum and the police,
Right.
so they can make a determination about it. Right?
Right.
Okay. See, like
So, but this was
he's
different.
verifying
different
that.
different times of me living there in Kui Gardens.
Yeah,
you know?
but my question is, did anyone interact with the bones?
No,
They just left the
because
bones there.
They just left the bones there because every time they would dig it up, right? Even when my brother-in-law
Mm-hmm.
came, I'm not going to say what company he worked with. They had to come and break up the concrete, right? So they can go ahead and dig
Right.
the dirt and get to the water main pipes and all that. You would still see the same placement of the bones, but they would do it in different locations of the property because that property is so huge. And you would see so many human bones. I remember that, man. It was like a graveyard. You would see them all there, just scattered around in the dirt. And wow, I mean, I wish somebody told me that's what I'd be seeing coming to me. But yeah, that's what they would always see every time they would break up the earth like that. You know, we would always see with Border Water Supply and others all these human bones.
Which kind of like, again, everything you've mentioned tonight, and the experiences shared by everyone, it all connects. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like what he was saying about burial and everything else in the Kui Gardens area,
Yeah.
that all connects, that all comes together. And you know what else? Almost like a spiritual download I'm going to share with you right now that I just got. You said you were having problems with your water.
Yep.
Maybe the spirits were upset because that line, the pipes were placed over there.
Pearl
And
City Peninsula or
Oh wait, no,
Gardens?
Kui Gardens.
Yeah,
I was going to
Kui
mention Pearl City Peninsula, saying maybe there's a connection with that too, because everything seems to be connected. Nothing seems to be separate. But yeah,
Yeah.
go on.
So that's how the story started to correlate to me, because I remember growing up, even prior to me seeing all those human bones, a lot of the older kids and the elders around the neighborhood that respected our family, right?
Right.
Would always say, you know, this place is a graveyard. I'm like, yeah, you guys are full of it. You guys are trying to scare us.
Oh, I'm getting a smell that's making me panic. Oh,
What do you smell?
I don't know what I've never smelled, but it just made me panic.
Didn't change.
It just made me panic. Like I really don't feel good, but yeah, Leilani, take notes on this, and please continue, Dee.
So, okay. So anyways, this leads me into my next one. So, how I said in my story number 4, that trauma of that elder Hawaiian lady creeping up on me like that died in our parking lot, right? And how I started to build a barricade of all my stuffed animals and my pillows and blankets at the edge of my bed, right?
Very
Well,
cool.
I remember this one incident, right? I mean, this one night, and I remember it vividly. I wasn't even sleeping yet, but there'll be times. So this was actually be twice. There'll be one time was I was woken with hearing footsteps walking right between me and my brother's bed in our bedroom, and just pacing. And I would look through the cracks of my stuffed animals, because my wall was pretty high, from my bed mattress all the way up here. And I would look up, and sometimes I would build a fort. I was pretty MacGyver. I would build like a fort. So I would hear these footsteps, and it was like there was nobody. I thought it was mom, dad coming to check up on me, or my brother walking around. No, my brother was sleeping, and the bedroom, the whole apartment was dark.
Well, as a investigator of hauntings and stuff, in the past, Dee, have you ever heard footsteps before that, or this was that? There's
Just
something
those
behind
times.
you somewhere. What?
Just those times that I'm just speaking of.
Okay, that's the first time you've ever heard footsteps in that house. Yeah, everyone walks around in the house, never heard footsteps, but these footsteps you could hear.
Yeah, it was right next to my bed, and it was shaking my bed.
Okay.
Like, not shaking my bed, bumping my bed.
Okay.
That's what woke me up. And I thought it was like dad coming home from Chevron late at night
Yes.
or early in the morning checking up on me.
Mm-hmm.
But then it wasn't. And I could hear my dad snoring way down the hall in his bedroom. And the apartment was still. And my brother was still in his bed. And then the second time, when I was still kind of up, I had a hard time falling asleep. And then I heard the footsteps again. It was coming by my bed. And this time I peeped through between my stuffed animals, my wall of stuffed animals and pillow. And I saw dark shadows. I saw shadows, like they look like human figures, but it was not my parents. It was not my older sister, and it was not my little brother, my baby brother.
Okay.
So that yeah, man. Okay, so my next story just basically shows, okay, it's just an observation, right? This is story number 9. So being that my dad was like a protector, he was a protector to we as a family, okay? He was very territorial to us, but he was a protector to the elders of our Kui Gardens neighborhood, because a lot of the Chinese, right, that worked at Chinese Culture Plaza or in Chinatown, right, they either ran a jewelry business or restaurants, and they would get off late, like towards midnight, and a few of them had been robbed by, I don't want to say the name of the housing. Okay, I will. Forgive me. Merritt's Housing.
Yeah.
They would come from Merritt's Housing or from other
Merritt's
locations.
Housing, the one down
Yeah,
graffiti the
I
store.
love Merritt's
One of
Housing.
yeah. Let's
helped
just
out at
let's just say
Merritt's
nice
Housing,
things
so-
about. Let's
Yeah,
say
I have
nice
nothing
things
bad
about there.
against Merritt's Housing.
Yeah.
But for real, my dad caught a couple that were from Merritt's Housing. We're talking about early 1980s, okay? And from other locations too. And they'll come and try to rob these elder Chinese women that lived in our neighborhood that we knew, but they worked in Chinatown, in Chinese Culture Plaza. And would try to rob their purse or their jade jewelry, their Chinese jewelry. Because a lot of them would carry cash, yeah? From closing out their cash register, they'll take it home with them. And my dad stopped it. My dad would always be the one to be the superhero to get back all their belongings, the purse, everything, their money, everything. But anyway, so because my dad was that protector, the residents were coming and would tell my dad things, and like, so just because I told you guys about spirits, ghosts, well, humanly things started to happen in our neighborhood. A lot of death, dying in their own bedroom, their own apartments, okay? A lot of that was happening. Like when they're sleeping. Attempted suicides. There was lots of like anger. Like the family would be so loving and everything. All of a sudden there'll be outbursts of anger. Huge, scary, like anger felt or domestic violence or like all kinds of dramas going on.
So you're saying it's like an acceleration. It all happened around the same time.
Yep. And it was happening at this one part in 1980s, and my dad, being that he was the only one running the neighborhood watch with HPD, he was the one handling all the situations, getting involved in it, and there would be a lot of intense problems with these families in our Kui Gardens. So this was all throughout the 1980s, like the early to mid 1980s. And it just makes you wonder, why. And they would be like perfect family. They were like a loving family, because that's what I knew about Kui Gardens. We're like, everybody was all close, like a family net, and the families all loved each other.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of problems, whether it be the Asians, or whether it be the Hawaiians, or other locals. There was always a lot of like anger and just depression and sadness.
Do you think that there is a reason for all of that? I mean, maybe you had an unspoken thought that you never really expressed before,
Yeah.
and maybe you can express that now if you like. What do you think that was going on?
I believe that it was the spirits trying to activate things out of all of us.
Do you feel better saying that instead of
Yeah.
holding it in?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
Okay, go on.
So yeah, I had to include that observation in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to encounter number 10. Let me see which one is this, because this is my next one. Okay. This is already by summer 1991. Okay. So summer 1991, we was already moving from that 4-bedroom apartment, which was facing Chinese Culture Plaza, Ala Street. But even though our address was North Baratania Street.
Okay, pause.
Yes.
Tagging the sound, my friend over here is watching something. So if you're in the viewing audience or if you're on Hawaiian Hauntings live stream, we're just tagging. That's what we do. We tag sounds so that we know it's not paranormal.
Tag you in.
Okay, we can go play hide and go seek later, Joe. Without lights. So check.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just have to let people know. So
So okay, so summer 1991.
yeah.
All right. I was already 14 years old, but I was already entering in high school already. I think I was 14, 15. I was 1 year older going into high school.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, we moved from one part of that 4-bedroom where since I was an infant, the 4-bedroom apartment, we're moving to a 3-bedroom apartment to the other side of the Baratania Park, as what we call it. So we are moving towards North Vineyard Boulevard. Okay. Now I remember this one freaking night. Now, okay, well, back that up. So right before the last day that we had to move out, right? Everything was cleared out. We was ready to sleep in our new apartment. I remember hugging all the walls. Like I just couldn't let go of that apartment. I had a hard time letting go of that 4-bedroom apartment. A lot of memories. I cried my heart out. So, okay, going back to that new apartment now, the 3-bedroom right along North Vineyard Boulevard. So that night when we were getting ready to sleep, I had my own bedroom, right? And my bedroom had to be going out, coming in or coming out the door. It was connected to the hallway. It's a small little hallway and it goes straight to my parents' bedroom. Or you turn left and boom, you're in the living room. Or turn right, you're in my brother's room, or you're in the bathroom. So my bed, my foot of the bed had to be facing the freaking door. And we didn't know, we didn't know back then, about putting our feet to the door, So I was just laying there in bed, watching my parents down the hall, going ahead, unpacking boxes, To my left, I had my boombox radio, listening to, I think it was Hot I-94, could be Hot I-94, or KQMQ, listening to the Quiet Storm R&B love jams, right, of 1991. And then all of a sudden I start slowly drifting off to sleep. And then I jolted awake because my freaking radio, the white noise static started to come through, like that. And I was like, oh no. And then all of a sudden I try to get up from bed, right, to try to adjust the antenna. And right when I was trying to get up the bed to sit up, I was pushed back to my bed and I was up. Because I could still see Mom and Dad going ahead and unpacking all the boxes. Oh, something's happening. Hold on.
Image from the past. That's what it looks like.
Just people.
Yeah.
So
I totally got alien vibes from that,
Yeah.
yeah.
right? Like
Looks
Nixon.
definitely like
That guy looked like he get attitude.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it looks
that
like
one,
again,
right?
it looks like a past connection.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're pushed back in your bed. Your radio goes. Your boombox. Excuse me. Oops. Your boombox goes crazy.
Yep.
You get pushed back in your bed. Your
Yep.
feet are facing the door.
Yep.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, right when I'm laying on my back, I feel like this force holding me down. I don't see anybody above me.
Right.
And then, while I mind you, I still see down the hall my parents just going about unboxing everything in their room, and I'm wondering what the hell's going on. You know, I'm freaked out. I'm like literally, I'm still innocent. Like I'm wondering what's going on.
Yeah. Definitely.
And then to my left, where my radio was, it went from static noise to I could hear voices coming through.
So this is the
You know, I could hear like it sounds like human voices coming through my freaking radio,
menu.
and it wasn't like from the radio station. It just sounded creepy, and I couldn't make out. I couldn't decipher the voices, what they were saying. And then all of a sudden, it's like my head was meant to look straight, and I start seeing like shadows coming above me, and I'm like, you know, I have my eyes, and then I'm like, I'm really trying to call out for mom and dad, because my dad is home. So I wanted to call my dad to come and beat up whoever it is doing this to me, you know. And I feel tears coming down my face, and then I remembered I hear a laughter like huh 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 huh, huh like that, right on the side of my bed. And I'm like, and I slowly look to my left, and I see this elder popo, this Chinese popo, this Chinese grandma at the side of my bed, and she has like a bun on the top. Her hair was gray, a high bun on her head. She's wearing the Chinese clothing, pajamas, and she's coming close like this, and she's like, ha 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 ha, at the side of my bed. Looked like she was sitting down and watching me, and I'm like, I'm crying, and then that's when I start praying, because you know we were Catholic back then. We were Catholic. I start praying, and that's when everything just stopped. And
Very, very much like
I-
a choke neck.
I just remembered
Ghost
that I got the
type
fuck out of that room.
situation.
I got the out of that room. I went straight. Fuck that, man. I went straight to my parents. I left to hell with my radio. I went straight to
Let
my
me
parents.
elaborate though, real quick, on what I'm talking about. So, my father, when we were living, again, this somehow all seems connected. When we were living at the place that was on the grounds of the Oahu Insane Asylum, he gets pushed back in his bed at night, and he's like panicking. So, he opens his eyes and he sees an old lady. And then when it comes to like choke neck, we call it pressing ghosts and everything. In other parts of the world, it's called hagging.
Yeah.
So when you are under the control of a spirit, most of the time you'll see something, a variation of what you saw. Like you said you saw this lady laughing at you. As a matter of fact, that's, I think, was the thing that happened with my dad. The lady that was there, that was doing the hagging, the spirit was laughing. So I gotta say stuff like that because it just creeps me the heck out. And I think you may have been experiencing something very similar to that. Plus, it didn't help that your feet was facing the door, because there's always a weird belief that will generate something to happen.
Well, I
So
didn't know back then.
yeah,
So that was my second trauma. I was like, I'm tired of this shit, man. I'm tired of this, man. I started to mostly sleep with my parents. I didn't care if I was going into high school, but there was time my mom and dad would say, you know, Davian, you're already of age to sleep by yourself. You're growing up. You're of age. But I'm like, I'm scared. I really am scared. You know, I'm traumatized what I'm experiencing. So my mom spoke to my grandma, her mom. Okay, that's my grandparents that lived on Kuakini back then, and Grandma believes in that stuff. I didn't. I mean, I don't think my mom knew. I don't know if my mom knew, but I didn't know that. So my grandma started to tell me, you know, that because she grew up in Waiahole Valley, that's where she was born, in Waiahole Valley. You know where the poi factory is? And
We were
there
just talking about that
used
last
to be
night.
a watercress farm back there. That was their whole property, you know, from 1800s. But my grandma was born in 1906 in Waiahole. She would see things, and what she learned about the sole of the feet facing the door was from that property, her family, her Hawaiian family. And my Hawaiian family would teach my grandma, only time we do this to put the soles to the door or the entrance of a room is when we have to honor the dead. So she has a letter. My grandma actually wrote a letter. I gotta find it. She wrote a 7-page letter that I have in my possession, just a copy of it, of what she experienced growing up in Waiahole Valley. And so what she would say was they would keep the dead of their family members in their house as if they're still alive. Their eyes would be covered with the
Coins.
what is it, the coins, and then their jaws would be open or shut, maybe shut or open with the rubber band, like
Yeah.
a bind. And they would keep the soles of their feet facing the door so the spirit can take them, the uohane or whatever, could take them out the door. That is when my grandma started to tell me. So she says, so she didn't scold my mom and dad because my grandma was very peaceful. So my grandma would always say, you know, never mind Angie and David, letting your daughter, you guys got to rearrange her room because that's only when the dead. So they were trying to take your daughter. So grandma wasn't trying to scare me. She was just saying they're probably trying to take my soul.
The whole practice of
Yeah.
coins being placed upon the deceased,
They were alive.
it goes way back to even with the Greeks and the Romans and
Yeah.
such,
Yeah.
and that it's a bartering
Yeah.
for the passage to the spirit world. What do we got?
Oh, Bucky. Necklace.
Yeah,
There's a cat. Yo, one go
So,
story about
yeah.
Bucky necklace.
So you know, my grandma's Hapa. Well, she
Yeah.
died in 1999, almost 100 years old. But she was Hapa, English blood. So that makes sense. English blood Hawaiian.
Hey, Neil, how's
Because
it?
she went to Kamehameha school for girls.
Mm-hmm.
But grandma, mom's mom, I believe that's probably what you're talking about, what you're expressing, how it's westernized. Yeah, her family was there was European blood.
no, it's a
English blood.
very ancient thing. It could actually predate Greek and Roman era, with that whole bartering to have a safe passage to the other side.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting.
The more you talk, the more creeped out I get. But that's fine with me. I'm here for it.
So to fast forward that story, okay? My dad found out who that Chinese woman was, that Chinese popo, that Chinese grandmother. She wasn't, I don't think she was my grandmother, but that was in my bedroom. She was a former tenant. So my dad found out from our property manager then, who told my dad, I want to say years later. So it was like about 2001, 2002. I think it was 2002. And the property manager told my dad that there was a Chinese family that lived in your folks' apartment, your 3-bedroom apartment, our brand new apartment, yeah? Summer 1991. So sometime before that, I don't know if it was the residents before us or predating all of us, the Chinese woman died in her bedroom, in her sleep. So her bed must have been right there.
Creepy, definitely creepy.
So she died of I can't remember if my dad said a stroke or a heart attack in her sleep.
Mhm.
So, yeah, very sad, man. Like I said earlier, as an observation to one of my stories, that there was a lot of death happening in our Kui Gardens. You know, people dying in their sleep or in their apartments. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. I
So
wanted to move to Kui Gardens.
you
I
want to
remember
live
when
there?
you said that.
Yeah, cheap housing.
I remember when you said
But I
that.
go over there and do a little bit of blessing every day. You know what I mean? I think it'll make a little bit of a difference. But
So-
why don't they have tea leaf plants over there?
Weird, yeah. I mean, I would see it growing up and playing as
Yeah.
kids,
But
but
they
it
would dig
wasn't
them all out, right?
around.
Yeah.
It wasn't around. They would do a lot of landscaping, you know, after a while, but we had native Hawaiian plants, but just not. Actually, we did have tea leaves. I don't know. What is the ginger torch in the avapuhi with the shampoo ginger? That doesn't have tea leaves, right?
No.
Okay, I thought that was tea leaves growing up.
Yeah, I mean,
But we
every
had
other
the
place you go in
avapuhi
Hawaii,
growing
you
up.
get tea leaf.
Yeah,
You know.
that's how I
especially
learned about
houses and
avapuhi.
apartments.
So yeah, so going now into the 1990s, you know, it becomes like the twilight zone for us. So I remember that time when we moved there, we tried to take our stray cat that we grew up with named Buckles. She was a Kalakoa cat. We tried taking her from our 4-bedroom apartment to there, and she refused. She would always refuse staying
You're
there.
talking about a cat?
Yeah, my cat.
And now we got this.
Well, this was a few minutes ago.
But still,
That was
just
my
weirdness.
next story.
Yeah.
That was my next story, dude.
And
So-
Melody's like, I want to go smoke a cigarette. They got this one.
So
Yeah, that one.
So my grandma. So my cat, our Kalakoa cat that we grew up with, would feel uncomfortable staying around our 3-bedroom apartment
Hmm.
and would always keep running back to the 4-bedroom apartment. Okay. So that was one thing that we noticed that was very odd. You know, something we never thought about. Now I'm thinking about it deeper. You know, after I typed out my notes, I'm wondering, oh my God, you know, I wonder if it, you know, because how I keep hearing from cat lovers and friends and you guys that cats they can see things, right?
They're very much connected with, again, ancient culture, Egyptian and otherwise, that there is a connection between them and the spirit world.
Yeah.
So, do you think that it's possible that something was calling the cat back to the other apartment?
I'm wondering, yeah. Or chasing my cat away.
Okay.
Our cat was always around us, you know. I felt like my cat was a protector.
Hmm.
Even from bad kids in the neighborhood would scratch all the bad kids in the neighborhood who would try to bully us, you know.
Hmm.
So I felt like my cat, that Kalakoa cat we had, Buckles, was our protector. Unfortunately, my dad had to give her away because our former Chinese neighbor from our 4-bedroom apartment, our old apartment, was trying to poison her. So we had to give her away to a loving family. But anyways, so we ended up getting a new cat. My dad befriended another stray cat. We named a black and white one. We named Rascal. Okay, and this cat would freak the hell out of me, man. Like, dude, like even like when I would we had
That was from the
him-
trees. Go
we
on.
had him like when I became an adult. So we had him since like 1994 when I turned 18, right? So even when I would get off of work or I would be home by myself, every time when I'm home by myself in our 3-bedroom apartment, our new 3-bedroom apartment.
Oh.
What was wrong?
There's like animal smell. Oh.
I was Dave first, I promise.
No. If that's you, I'm gonna buy you catnip litter on.
Catnip.
I'll take care of you, Joe. I'll put a collar on you and get you a litter box.
You can borrow my odor-free
Yeah.
spray for
No
our
way, Joe.
dog.
You're in good hands. You're in very good hands. No, but I just smelt it. I heard like so my hands are right here, like up that area. I heard like some sounds in the trees. Then I smelt like an animal, maybe a cat. So manifestations are taking place.
Yeah.
It seems.
What?
Yeah. You calling me?
No.
You said pig.
I said
Oh.
pig, and you're like, yeah? I'm like,
No,
you're
not
like, yeah?
not
I'm like,
Pawa'a.
No, I don't think you're hearing me right.
I'm like looking for my cough drop. He goes, D. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, D. If I look at him, I'm like, yeah.
No, Melody said,
And he's
is it
looking
a
at
pig?
me.
Melody said pig in the chat. And I'm like,
I'll confuse you, Melody. It has 4 legs and it quacks like a duck. Just go with that, okay? And we're waiting for an AI image about it. Anyway, go on.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
this one looked like a bath.
so anyways, let me get to my soy steak.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I remember that this new cat that we had, right? Since I was an adult already by 1994, I turned 18.
What the
I
hell is
remember our
that?
black and white cat Rascal. Man, every time
That looks
I'm
like-
home, oh, hold on.
Very elemental. This kind of looks like
Faye, you gotta put like a stop
Like
sign.
it's
Wait,
like
stop, G.
made of like of the trees, and then there's like a face above it that looks upset. And it's, you know what's really weird about that? I just said that there was something in the trees that I heard up here. That's very.
When you
That
said,
looks very
you know,
elemental.
Mr. Shorto,
What?
when you said you detected that animal smell.
Oh, no kidding.
Look like angry birds and one moth almost.
Yeah, more.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, that is impressive. Okay, so
So
the
our second stray cat we had, right?
Yeah.
Since I was adult already in 1990s. I remember every time I would be home by myself, or I would be outside with the cat. It's always when I'm home by myself. Our cat Rascal would start hissing and snarling and growling, pretty much, at the wall in our porch outside of our apartment. Okay, and it's all quiet. You know, Kui Gardens back then used to be so quiet back in the 1990s.
Mhm.
And I was home alone. Nobody was home. My parents went with my brother to St. Louis Crusaders for his band practice or football games they had. So this cat will be doing that, and there's no insect. There's no signs of anything. And he'll be growling at something high up on the wall in our porch, enclosed porch.
Mhm.
And those are all white walls, you know? And it would freak me out. And I would be all like, what the hell you see, you know? And it would be every time when I'm home alone and I would be in the living room and I would hear him growling. "Arr!" And I would think it's another cat making trouble. There's no cat. There's no insect. And he starts hissing and is looking at the same freaking wall over and over in our porch. And I could never figure that out, you know?
Yeah, I've had experiences like we have a cat that looks up, but not growl, but looks up in the air and it's looking at something that's not there. I gotta take a closer look. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand those kind of experiences. Yeah.
So my next encounter, okay,
That face looks like the one
comes
they got.
to, it's my younger brother.
Hey, come look at this.
Oh, wait, hold on. Something happened. Just keep talking, Obake.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So
That face looks like the one you got.
my younger brother, okay, he's 2 years younger. He was still in high school.
Yes.
Okay. He's sleeping. Me and my parents were up. We're watching TV, you know, because I was an adult already. So we're up in the living room and it's nighttime. All of a sudden, my brother wakes up. He's sleepwalking. First time we ever saw him sleepwalk. He gets up, walks out of his room, walks into the living room, and his eyes are shut. And he's walking straight. He's not banging into any furniture. This 3-bedroom apartment is way smaller than our 4-bedroom apartment. Okay? His eyes is shut and he's walking, you know, like 3 blind mice, just navigating perfectly, straight line, not like zigzag, just straight line. And he has his hands out just like this. Not going like this, just like this. And like it was just weird. And then he's led, and this was like, he'd done this like twice in 1990s while in high school. And he's led to the front door of the apartment. All of a sudden, my brother starts panicking. I know, wait, I know, like talking to himself, you know, like he's about to like freak out. and his eyes is closed. And I'm like, Mom, do something. My mom, we knew not to ever disturb
Yes.
sleepwalkers.
Yes.
So
Very true.
he's trying so hard to get himself. I know, I'm trying to leave the house. I'm trying to leave. I'm trying to leave. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, Mom. And then we just surround him. And then Dad goes, you guys so scared. And without waking him up, he turns around while my dad is guiding him back to his room. This happened twice. Now, my next encounter leads me to that. It's a continuation, similar, but I didn't sleepwalk. I was in my bedroom of that apartment, and my brother was not home. My brother was in Kaneohe. Okay, now mind you, we're in Kalihi Palama. Okay, he was across the other side of the mountain, windward side, Kaneohe, visiting my big brother's house, sleeping over for the weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
Dad, Mom and Dad was in the living room watching the 6 o'clock local news, okay, on TV. I was in my bedroom listening to Aaliyah. That's when Aaliyah was popular. So it was like about, 1996, I think, somewhere around there. I was listening to her album, her CD album I got from Tower Records. And it was 4-page letter. So listening to 4-page letters so I could write to my first boyfriend. I was 19 years old at that time with a first boyfriend. That's pretty good. So I'm on page 4. That's why I was listening to Aaliyah's music, 4-page letter. And all of a sudden, I guess I get tired, so I drift off to sleep on my bed. And then my dream takes place of my bedroom and our apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I see this tall, slender man come walking out of the living room, and he's glowing. He looks sickly, but he looks like my brother, my younger brother, the one that was sleepwalking. But the only thing, he has Chinese eyes. He has this figure has Chinese eyes, but he looks like my brother. But only thing that looked off about this figure was he was not only just glowing, radiant, but he looked sickly, very, very sickly, like he was weak. And I'm looking at this figure, and I'm like, I start calling my brothers.
Wait, stop. Okay, so I gotta let people know, you've been hearing noises all night. That's from, there's a Spirit Box app over there. Okay? But just now, I heard someone go, hello. Clear as day. But go on. I'm sorry. I have to acknowledge when I hear.
So this figure, who is as tall as uncle, but slender, looks just like my brother, but has Chinese slanted eyes.
Yes.
Radiant, and looks very weak and sickly. I start smelling like something, I start smelling like mud and dirt. I start smelling dirt. Because we used to play in the dirt. So I know what dirt smelled like.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like looking at this, and this is my dream. This is what I drifted off to sleep in while writing to my first boyfriend. And this figure just comes right up to my entrance of my bedroom, and I'm on my bed. And I could see my letter, my love letter, right there next to me. And he's telling me to follow him, but in a cold, cold whisper. Follow me. Come. Come. Come, calling my name. Come, baby Ann. Come. And I'm like, I'm not going with you. I was thinking this was my brother. I'm like, what are you doing home? You're supposed to be in Kaneohe with our brother, my big brother. And then all of a sudden, he's like, you'll be sorry if you don't follow me. You should follow me. And then, because I knew it wasn't my brother, but he looked like my brother, but with Chinese eyes. And he goes into my brother's room, which was like from the entrance and exit of my bedroom door. My brother's room is like right there. to my far immediate right. I see him walk into my brother's room, and he's waving bye to me. The figure disappears in my brother's room, doesn't turn on the light, so I knew it wasn't my brother. I knew it was a ghost at that point. And all of a sudden, he starts playing freaking peekaboo. Like, he's hiding inside my brother's dark bedroom, and he's sticking his head out, looking at me. Hides, looks at me, hides, looks at me. I'm getting freaked out at this point. And then finally, he pops back out. And then he's like, come, follow me, follow me. And he walks into the living room. And then I see him walking all the way out to the front door. He passed right in front of my parents. That's when I freaking woke up. I went running to my parents. I was like, what the fuck? First I went to go check my brother's room. I turned on the light. Nobody, it was just like what I thought. He wasn't home. Because I even told the spirit, you're supposed to be in Kaneohe. You know?
So, I have to ask, do you think there was a connection between your brother's sleepwalking and that spirit? Because it's sounding like it's trying to invite people. Okay.
Lure me to go sleepwalk, you know, to the front door, to leave the house.
And what I also get is feeling that what you were experiencing while you were sleeping was actually kind of connected to what your brother was experiencing while he was sleeping as well.
Yeah, and he has no recollection what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember he did say one time that something was trying to make him leave or get out. I remember he said that one time in the 1990s, but if I ask him again, I don't think he would remember any of it.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so I got up, I woke up, felt like I was up, you know, because it was so freaking vivid. It was like real life vivid.
Mm-hmm.
So I got out of bed. I mean, I wasn't supposed to be sleeping. I was supposed to be writing a long novel to my first boyfriend, who was off island at that time, you know, in California for a few months. So anyways, I go running to my parents in the living room. I was like, Mom, Dad, did Sean come home? Because I was about to titter out, you know. And Mom said, no, Sean's still in Kaneohe. I'm like, Sean came home. I saw him. I saw him. He went right into his room. Dad goes, what is this girl talking about? And Mom goes, no, your brother, you seen things. Your brother's not here. You seen things. You're just your imagination. I'm like, no, Mom, that's not my imagination. I literally saw Sean, but with Chinese eyes, and he looked sick and weak. Come to me, telling me to follow him, and come follow him into the living room. So I'm wondering if he's playing game. So I gave up. I called my brother. He's there in Kaneohe. I called my brother's house phone, and my brother was there. He's playing video games, Nintendo or Sega. I think it was Nintendo with my niece and my brother.
Think in your head the word.
So
Just think of it in your head.
there's no recollection of that. I never.
It's frozen.
At that point, I never thought what it was, you know, that was trying to haunt me,
It's sentient, but
and why it did that to me. That shit scared me.
Okay.
So that's when I started to leave my bedroom door closed. When I be in my bedroom by myself, I'd be leaving my bedroom door closed because I don't want to see any more ghosts passing by my bedroom door. Any questions, Obake? What do you think it is?
Everything that you've shared with us this evening, it really resonates with me as being something that's trying to connect with you. Something, it's more of a personal haunting, not a shared haunting, because there were times that you said things and other people were not experiencing it. So yeah, that's what I think.
So, so anyways, this comes to the next thing, okay? And I'm sorry I have to bring up, I know you said you don't want to talk about this topic, but this is something that happened in 1990s. Okay, so I remember all the kids that I grew up with, right? All the local kids, they were trying to tell me and my dad that there was a family that we knew that we were close to.
Yes.
And he was younger than us because he was still going to school, high school, McKinley.
Mm-hmm.
And this boy, he was a good kid, very, very quiet to himself, but he was a good kid, very respectful. And my friends that I grew up with, they were like young adults. So I remember this one morning when they were out at the Laliha bus stop
Hey, Patty.
that takes you to, that'll take you like the buses that'll come like from Vineyard, they'll come from Vineyard, turn on to Laliha,
Mm-hmm.
pick you up right in front of Merritt's housing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like right across the street of our Kui Gardens, right? So I remember this one time in 1990s, right, mid 1990s, because I was working at that time. All my friends that I grew up with, some of them, were out there getting ready to go to work. They saw him, that one kid I'm talking about, going to school. And like I said, he's to himself, he's quiet, All of a sudden, he starts freaking out and screaming and saying, "Get away from me, get away from me." And he starts running to my friends because he recognized them from, living in Kui Gardens.
Yeah.
And he hangs out with their younger siblings. And said that there's like a woman that's been following him, that never came out of his apartment, always was in his apartment on the Liha side, okay? And she was like in a dark veil, like a veil over her face, and all dressed in black.
Mm-hmm.
And they just called her the Lady in Black. And she had a pale, pale white face. And she looked spooky. And she was always following him around, but she was always inside his apartment. And that was the first time she followed him outside of the apartment at the bus stop. And so my friends who are young adults getting ready to go to work, waiting for the bus to come, were with him, and they believed him. They didn't see what he saw, but they believed him because his fear was that real. Okay, now this leads me to my next story. So I got off of work. Okay, this is still in 1990s. Okay, I got off of work and I had to wash clothes. I had to wash clothes because I had to work early the next morning. So I'm washing my clothes. I bought some magazines with me in the laundromat. This is all Laliha side. Okay. And then I'm by myself. Everything is quiet. Everybody is in their apartments doing whatever, And the boy, that teenager, he comes walking out of his apartment. And right when he comes walking out, it was like, dude, there was no clouds in sight to make like it was gonna rain. The freaking weather, I kid you not, changed from no clouds in sight to all of a sudden it's raining. It's raining hard, downpour. This teenager comes walking just like this, like focused. I have chills because I was trying to stay away from this kid, hearing the stories that I was hearing from the neighbors, about this kid, even though he's a good kid, but he was seeing ghosts around him. So he comes walking like uniform style, like military, focused, straight ahead. All of a sudden he stops at the entrance of the laundromat, and I'm by my freaking self.
Right.
And he looks straight at me, and he points at me. And I'm like, what? I called his name. I'm like, what you want? I'm like, I'm not doing anything. And he's just standing there watching me. And I'm like, oh my God. I start getting scared, And I knew I had to protect myself just in case he does anything disrespectful. but he's not that kind of a kid. I known him since he was little. Okay? And he's just staring at me straight while I'm in the laundromat.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, I was trying to wake him out of it, like snap him out of his trance, whatever trance he was in. And then he's like, oh shit, she's here. I was like, oh dude, is it that lady in black? He goes, yeah, she's here. She asked me in my apartment, because his apartment was like straight from that laundromat on Liliha's side, straight up like when you walk out of the laundromat, boom, you walk down the path and boom, your staircase to lead up to the second floor, you know, just like sister's apartment was right there, you know, but this is Laliha's side. And so I'm like, the lady in black with the black veil, you see her too? I'm like, no, I heard that you saw her at the bus stop. Yes, she follows me everywhere I go. I don't know what she wants. She scares me. It's like she wants to possess me or something. And I'm like, dude, don't bring her here. Don't bring her here, man. I go to church. At that time I was going to Calvary Chapel Church. I'm like, don't bring her here. I believe in Jesus. That's when I was really into the Lord and everything. Like, do not bring her here. I would challenge her. Do not. Do not. I'm dead serious. Do not. I don't want problems. Keep that shit away from me. And then he's like, but she wants to meet you. I'm like, fuck no, man. Get the fuck away, man. Go, step away. Beat it. Go home. It's late. You're a teenager. Go home. Leave me alone. And all of a sudden, he's like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to disrespect you. You know, don't tell your dad, because a lot of the kids were afraid of my dad. Don't tell your dad. And all of a sudden, he looks at, she's coming, she's coming. And he screams and he runs away. And I'm like, then all of a sudden, the rain just pouring hard. Then all of a sudden, it just stops.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes back in a trance, walking. This time he's looking at me through the gate. There's like a meadow. It's like a meadow with hose pukas, kind of a window, kind of a thing. Look like a cage, but it's like small little. It's like a metal type of window. I don't know how to explain it. And he's looking at me through that. Wow, walking straight like a trance, staring at me. So
Very, very creepy.
I know that was a possession, and that was my first time ever seeing a possession in Kui Gardens,
Wow.
but not the last.
How many more stories you got?
A few more.
Oh, wow. Well, let's, well, not only that, I'm going to wrap it up from my end of the interview, because I think some of this can definitely be generated into another interview,
Series.
especially around Halloween. As a matter of fact, it really felt like Halloween tonight. Let's kind of like recap what happened. During the course of this interview tonight, there was many different signs of spirits, also visual and audio phenomenon that was going on, AI generated stuff as well. I think maybe some of the people that are around us here tonight, there's an actual audience here, may have had their own experiences as well. So is it all connected to Kui Gardens? I'm not sure. The only thing I can really say is that at one point, both myself and Joe Punohu went to Kui Gardens, and what I experienced, what was that? I heard that.
Yours, yeah? That's Khalil, that was you. Made a noise like,
Oh, there's Faye. I can't even see
No.
guys.
sorry. Yeah, I think that was his
Yeah,
sorry.
right up to the very end, we're experiencing things. I don't know if it's the Spirit app or such, but anyway, what an incredible night. Again, my apologies to my YouTube community. I could not get on to do a live stream for the life of me. A lot of weird things happened, including getting here late. But my biggest thank you is to Dee Momi for sharing some incredible, spooky
Oh, yeah.
stuff I'll never forget the woman coming out from under the bed, or
Yeah,
the
man.
spirits that were covered with mud that were coming out of the ground. The Evie, the bones that were buried where there was the water pipe, and you guys were having problems with your water. There's just so much things to try and digest and take in. There's going to be a follow-up show for those that are interested called Seeing Ghosts with Uilani, and she's going to tell us what she's seen and experienced. I'm guessing this is what I really think is going to happen. There's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about. I recommend that. Are you okay?
Yeah, I am. I'm listening to you.
No, you kind of look like you weren't yourself for a second
No,
there.
I'm listening to you.
No, you
man.
really look like you were.
Oh, because I'm thinking about all those freaking
No,
stories.
you just look like you were somebody else. It's
Oh,
just.
stop it, Obama.
I'm just saying. I'm
Okay,
being
okay.
honest.
You come sit next to me,
Okay,
girl.
yeah. Throw Hawaiian salt on her, guys.
Shit,
Um,
no, I'm me.
No, I know. I'm just saying what I
didn't think that,
what
man.
what I.
Because I'm starting to think about all my stories, and I haven't thought about my Kui Gardens stories in a long time.
Well,
I
a lot
actually-
of
I
phenomenal.
actually put it behind me. You know
Not
what I'm
only
saying? I
phenomenal
put it behind
stories,
me.
but phenomenal reactions from the other side while you were telling these stories as well.
Wow, I was
So
thinking about
I recommend, if you want to,
Oh,
anyone here or wherever,
I'm
if
gonna
you
go
want to watch,
dancing now.
you want to watch the recap of what Uilani saw seeing ghosts, check that out, because I really have this feeling she has a lot to say,
That smells good.
and we're going to be doing that
Yes,
sometime very soon. So again, Dee, thank you so
You're
much for the
welcome.
coffee.
You're welcome.
Thank you for scaring me, and I'm sure also thank you for the way you can tell stories, which is why I think some of these things were happening as well.
Still scares me.
Yeah, I'm kind of
Still
wondering.
freaks
I'm going
me
to talk to
out.
Uilani to see if you have any attachments around you
Oh, God.
that are following you around.
Is
Well,
it
better
bad?
to know than not know.
Okay.
No, because you can always do
I don't
stuff.
want-
Choose your spiritual path. If you want to go
Yeah.
the Hawaiian route,
I want
if
good.
you want to go to the
Yeah.
Christian route,
Reading all the comments over here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of everyone's saying thank you. Such amazing stories. Thank you for sharing your stories. Mahalo Dee for your very spooky stories.
and our spooky reactions
Yeah.
to your stories.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is Malia still on?
I think she fell asleep. I think we put her
Oh,
to sleep.
yeah, because she's in.
It's like 3 hours ahead, so it's like 2
Yeah.
a.m.
Yeah, this is over 2
Uilani?
hours.
Where's Uilani? Oh, you're
Probably
not on
fell
your
asleep
live,
to the
huh?
croaky frogs.
Is Uilani on the Hawaiian Hauntings?
Maybe.
Well, whether or not she's watching,
Melanie, Puhao,
she'll be able to see it on YouTube,
Okay.
and she'll watch it, and then
And
we're gonna do. Not only are we gonna do a recap of what this show happened with tonight, we're also doing a recap of Joe's show, which, according to Uilani, there are some very interesting things that happened when he was talking about Ulupo Heiau. So that's coming up as well. Also, if Faye is still here, we're going to be doing a investigation on September 28th at Old Poly Lookout. The reason why I mentioned Faye's name is because she told me in the past that when she goes up in that area, she gets freaked out. So the invitation is given to Faye Okamoto if she wants to come as well and join us on that night as we go up to Old Poly Lookout and we do an investigation at the gates to go into the area. HPD has experienced things. We've experienced things up there in the past. It's the only other location besides Pearl City High School where a scream was heard. So, Faye, the invitation is given to you if you want. That'll be on September 28th on a Saturday. And besides that, I'm wrapping things up. Again, thank you so much for being here, everybody. Thank you to the community at Hawaiian Hauntings for listening as well. And this video will go up as soon as I can. Get it up there on YouTube. And I would love to hear your reactions to the stories because I think they were just top notch. Just really, really good. And we'll see what happens after this live stream. Because sometimes we'll be doing shows and then afterwards, like with Joe, when we did his show, we were hearing voices and everything all around us too. So, in conclusion, mahalo to the spirits that were here tonight. We'd like to thank you as well for being here and letting us know that you're here as well. This is your
God.
home. This is
Yeah.
your place.
Sorry if
So,
I brought things here that
yeah.
to be here.
First and foremost, we say mahalo to you for allowing us to be here and to share stories. And with that said, we are wrapping things up right now. Look forward to all of the rest that's coming up with Joe's group, my group, we are in the midst of the Halloween season, and I think tonight was a really good way to launch ourselves into all the other experiences that we're going to be sharing later on, and all the things we're going to be doing. Live stream investigations. Give out an invitation to Joe Ponohu. I want to ask him if he wants to do a show on Mo'o, because that for some reason is like sticking out in my head. I think Joe has a lot to say about Mo'o experiences and other stuff that is coming up as well. But to everyone out there tonight, mahalo for being here. Have a good night, and I will see you all again soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Ghosts of Hawaii, you're home for a dose of ghosts and red eyes, voices, images from the other side, and a whole bunch of other things. But I'm very impressed. Take care, everyone. Have a good night. Aloha.